Welcome back to the channel. This is Trinity Storm and you are watching second part of What If Naruto Was Saved by Sand Siblings. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
Land of Tea. In front of Obito's residence. After glancing at Kabuto, Yoroi, Masumi, and the other 20. 5 Auto Shinobi, Naruto, Obito, Temari, Kankuro, and Kurumi made the decision to talk. Obito, Naruto remarked, I'll wear glasses there. I know what to expect because I fought him before. Obito nodded. As he prepared to face Masumi, Kankuro declared, I'll take on that asshole. I should have killed that asshole back during the Chunin exams. Kurumi caught their attention by saying, I'll take on his partner in the sunglasses. I don't know why, but I don't like him much, she added, drawing Obito's attention. Kurumi nodded as Obito said, Be careful, sweetie. This is your first real fight. Tamari warned her fan, and be careful. He can suck the chakra out of you upon contact. Me and Obito will take care of their backup, Tamari added, nodding to Obito. As he prepared, Obito remarked, This is the first time I've been in battle in 13 years. Looks like it's time to knock off the rust. As he pulled out a kunai, Kabuto, who was staring at Obito, said, Men try and take the man, the blonde girl, and the black-haired girl alive. And kill the rest. Naruto yelled, Let's do this, as he and his allies charged into combat. Alongside Naruto. After charging towards Kabuto, Naruto brought back his small fans and swung them forward, sending wind blades in Kabuto's direction. After vaulting over the wind blades and landing a short distance away from Naruto, Kabuto slashed at the latter, who retreated a step and holstered his fans. When Kabuto slashed at Naruto again, he blocked with his left arm and then threw a punch with his right, which Kabuto blocked with his hand. Kabuto winced as the hidden blade on Naruto's gauntlet pierced his hand, suddenly springing out and stabbing him in the hand. After twisting Naruto's arm in return, Kabuto kicked him in the face, causing him to skid back. Naruto was able to halt himself and shook his head as the kick shook him. When a stinging sensation appeared in his hand as he started to treat his wound, Kabuto thought, Poison huh, and he looked at the disguised Naruto. Maybe I'll have to take this a little more seriously, he thought to himself as he started to create chakra scalpels with both of his hands. Naruto looked at Kabuto and thought, I hate you. I really fucking hate you. Okay, 4 eyes, let's dance, he yelled as he charged at Kabuto. Alongside Kurumi. Yoroi threw a punch at Kurumi, who parried it and hit him in the abdomen, causing him to spit up blood. Kurumi then kicked Yoroi in the stomach, sending him skidding back. Yoroi glared at her while spitting up more blood. You little shit, Yoroi yelled. You'll pay for that, he added. Kurumi then assumed her combat stance once more. Yoroi growled as Kurumi uttered, You know this is my first fight, so either you really suck or I'm just amazing. Yoroi charged at Kurumi and said, We'll see about that girl. Kurumi quickly went through hand signals. Using the move, Fire Style, Fireball Jutsu, Kurumi launched a medium-sized fireball at Yoroi, who sidestepped the blow. Observing this, Kurumi pulled out 3 shuriken and hurled them at Yoroi. Yoroi pulled out a kunai and blocked all 3, but his happiness was short-lived because he then noticed 3 more shuriken lurking in the original shadows. With no other option, Yoroi braced himself and let go of the shuriken as it struck him in the arm, the stomach, and the leg. Yoroi then pulled the shuriken out and charged at Kurumi. He thought to himself, Damn it, who is this girl? As he brought her back into hand. 2. Hand combat. Obito and Tamari in tow. When Obito noticed Tamari swinging her fan and unleashing a tremendous gust of wind towards a group of auto ninja, he gestured with his hands. Fire Style. Fireball Jutsu. Obito launched a tremendous fireball in the direction of the wind jutsu, causing a tremendous firestorm that spread to the 25 auto ninja. One ninja was not so fortunate. The auto ninja charged Tamari and Obito, who both prepared for battle, sending the opposing ninja reeling. The other 24 ninjas managed to escape. A ninja from Auto attempted to stab Obito, but Obito parried the attack with his kamui. After getting behind the ninja, Obito killed him by severing his neck. 2 more auto ninja tried to attack him, but Obito used his ability to phase through them both. He kicked the first one out of the way before confronting the second. The ninja tried to kick him, but Obito grabbed his leg and dragged him near. Then, Obito struck the ninja's knee with his elbow, breaking it and causing him to scream. Then Obito kicked him in the head and swept his leg, knocking him to the ground. Tamari was engaged in combat as well. She struck an auto ninja with the blunt side of her fan, breaking his skull instantly with the force of the blow. Taking a cue from Naruto's fighting style, Tamari stomped on his foot and head-butted him, hitting his nose with the back of her head as another ninja approached from behind and grabbed her. The ninja released his grip as Tamari spun around and struck him in the ribs, shattering them. One of the ribs went through his lung, causing him to collapse onto the floor, drowning in his own blood. As the other auto shinobi started charging at her, Tamari prepared her fan. As Tamari prepared herself for battle once more, she thought, damn it, why can't I have a normal mission? Alongside Sango. Sango yelled, get out of my fucking house you bastards, as she used a meat cleaver to attack an auto shinobi. After breaking into the house covertly, two auto shinobi attempted to kidnap Sango and were now having difficulty holding the housewife captive. Oh my god, let's just kill her, uttered one of the ninjas. He was trying to seize the furious woman when he said, no damn it. Kabuto wants her alive. Sango yelled, fuck the both of ya, and she threw a kettle of boiling water at one of the ninjas, hitting him and splattering all over him. He yelled, ah, you bitch, and threw a kunai wildly, striking a kerosene lantern and setting it on fire. Sango took advantage of the situation to close in and kill him with a meat cleaver to the head while his partner watched in horror as the woman killed his comrade. When the fire started to spread throughout the house, Sango yelled, I told ya to get outta my fucking house, while slashing at the other ninja. Alongside Kankuro. Kankuro, not wanting to repeat the previous mistake, sent his puppet in the direction of Masumi, who was prudently keeping his distance from the puppet user. With a volley of poisoned senbon, Kankuro opened Crow's mouth and launched himself at him. Masumi ducked as he hurled multiple kunai at Kankuro, who then used a scroll to call forth his ant puppet to deflect the blow. As he attempted to gain the upper hand in his fight, Kankuro started to run and manipulate his puppets. Masumi, realizing that Kankuro was not a close range fighter, chose to close the distance. When Kankuro noticed that Masumi was getting close, he prepared to carry out his plan. He drew the crow closer and raised its arms to stand behind Masumi. As the two poisoned blades emerged, Masumi noticed them coming and leapt aside to save herself from being stabbed. When Masumi turned to face Kankuro, he had his fist cocked back, and he punched him in the face, sending him flying back. When the ant opened its body, Masumi opened his eyes and entered the puppet, but not before grabbing the doors to prevent them from closing. Good try, buddy, Kankuro exclaimed as he dashed ahead. But this is over, he added, kicking Masumi in the chest to completely submerge him inside the puppet. Leaping backward, Kankuro shattered the crow, launching the fragments into the air and revealing their blades. Masumi yelled from inside the puppet, let me out you fucking psycho, but Kankuro disregarded him and used his fingers and arms to bring down the bladed parts of the puppet. As the crow's blades passed through the ant's slits, Kankuro yelled, Art of the Iron Maiden. All of the screaming and struggling stopped as blood started to seep out of the puppet's cracks. Done with that, Kankuro exclaimed as he split open the ant, allowing Masumi's corpse to fall to the ground. You should go help Tamari, he added, closing the ant and racing to find his sister with the crow. Alongside Kurumi. Kurumi was fighting Yoroi in a fierce taijutsu match, trying to keep her chakra from being depleted by the boy's grab. Kurumi saw Yoroi's punch coming because of her Sharingan, so she blocked it and caught hold of Yoroi's arm. Kurumi twisted her limb, causing Yoroi to lean forward, using a jujitsu move her father had taught her. Kurumi attempted to kick Yoroi in the face, but her leg got caught, and she started to feel the effects of Yoroi's technique. Kurumi, who still had a free leg, kicked him in the face, severing his hold. Kurumi then sent Yoroi face first to the ground with a sweeping leg kick. Kurumi finished him off by punching him in the temple, knocking him unconscious while still clinging to his arm. Yoroi screamed as Kurumi rolled over his back, popping his arm out of socket. Now gasping, Kurumi reached into her back pocket and pulled out some rope. Bastard, she exclaimed as she started to bind up the unconscious adversary. That'll hold ya, Kurumi added, getting back to her feet. When Kurumi noticed her house was on fire in the distance, she became alarmed and yelled, Ma, as she started to run towards it. Just as she got close, the door burst open, revealing an auto ninja who was falling out while holding a meat cleaver in his chest. Kurumi shuddered in horror as Sango snatched up the cleaver and started hacking the ninja to death. "Ya bastard. Die!" she yelled. "Take it easy, Mom," Kurumi thought to herself. Alongside Naruto. Both Naruto and Kabuto were unable to gain the upper hand in their battle, so they continued to battle, with Naruto using his blade and Kabuto trying to take down Naruto with his chakra scalpel. Naruto countered with a spinning kick that Kabuto blocked, but the force knocked him away. Kabuto swung his chakra blade at Naruto, who dodged just as the blade touched his chest, cutting him. Naruto noticed that his wound had already healed when he looked down at it. "Thanks, Fox," he thought to himself. Standing a few yards away, Kabuto remarked, "My, what an interesting healing power. Tell me, do you have a Kage Genkai?" he inquired, making Naruto recoil. "Yeah, I'm the last of my clan," Naruto uttered, attempting to hide his identity from Kabuto. "My name is Menma." As he prepared to return to battle, Kabuto remarked, "Well, Menma, I'd really like to know you and that power better. I think some dissection and experimenting would be a good start," causing Naruto to shudder. Naruto pulled 4 shuriken out of his pouch and held them in his hand as Kabuto charged at him as he got ready for battle. With wind chakra, Naruto charged his shuriken and hurled them towards Kabuto, who saw the projectiles coming and moved to block them. But when the shuriken passed through his chakra scalpels, Kabuto was unprepared. 2 of the shuriken missed, and the other 2 struck him twice, once in the shoulder and once in the arm, striking him farther than a typical shuriken should have. As he approached Naruto, Kabuto thought, "Wind chakra. How careless of me." He swung at Naruto, who then dodged and slashed back at him with his blade. Naruto was forced to bend forward when Kabuto blocked, grabbed, and twisted his arm. Kabuto then kicked him in the face, breaking his mask but leaving it intact. After taking a kick to the leg, Naruto struck back, severing his hold on Kabuto and spinning in an attempt to sever his throat with his blade. Kabuto ducked under the blow, avoiding the blade, but his eyes widened when he saw what was in Naruto's other hand. When Naruto used his spin to charge his small fan, he struck Kabuto point blank with a blade of wind, sending him flying back and rolling on the ground before standing up. Kabuto stood back up, his chest still gushing blood. Kabuto was able to spare his life because he started to mend his body prior to being struck. The wind blade nicked his heart and one lung, cutting it 4 inches deep. Now that Kabuto's wound was completely healed, he looked at Naruto, who was panting heavily from using a lot of chakra in the last attack. As he prepared for round 3, Kabuto thought to himself, "Who the hell is this kid?" Kankuro, Obito, and Tamari together. A kunai thrust from an auto ninja was avoided by Obito, who then grabbed his arm, twisted and broke it, grabbed the kunai, and stabbed him in the neck, killing him. To his confusion, Obito used his ability to phase when he sensed another presence behind him. An auto ninja attempted to stab him in the back, but the blade passed through him and stabbed his dead comrade. With Obito now behind him, he was grabbed from behind and his neck was snapped. Obito turned to face Tamari, who was finishing up her fight as well. 10 auto ninja were standing far away, so Temari leapt back to get some distance. After realizing that her area of fire was clear, Temari bit her thumb, smeared blood on it, and wound her fan back, performing the summoning jutsu, quick beheading dance. She then swung her fan forward, causing a strong wind gust, and called forth a white weasel wielding a scythe. The 10 auto ninja that were present were hacked to pieces by the summoning creature in the wind, making the attack extremely destructive. Temari inhaled deeply as she turned to watch Kankuro eliminate the final auto ninja. The auto ninja was driven back by Kankuro using his crow puppet. As the ninja attempted to hop back, a poison smoke bomb burst from the puppet's mouth. The ninja felt his lungs burning after being hit by the smoke bomb, and he inhaled some of it. When he emerged from the smoke, a crow with both arms extended and blades protruding met him. After the ninja was killed by the blades that embedded themselves in his chest, Kankuro remembered his puppet and turned to face Temari and Obito, who had finished their fights. "Are you all finished now?" Kurumi asked, approaching with Sango and a restrained Yoroi. "I caught this bastard for interrogation," she remarked, to which Obito gave a nod. "Well done, sweetie," Obito proudly exclaimed, causing his daughter to blush. "Sango, are you okay?" he inquired, gesturing to the burning house. No, I'm not okay, Sango said with a mix of sadness and rage. Those idiots destroyed the home my father built, she added, and Obito balled his fists. Obito swore, damn it. You started a new life, and now it's falling apart. Tamari said, come on, we still need to check if Naruto is okay, and they all nodded. Leave, Sango ordered, grabbing the rope Yoroi was holding. I'll look after our guest, she added. With a nod from everyone, they started to move in the direction of where Kabuto and Naruto had last been seen. Alongside Naruto. Both Naruto and Kabuto were breathing heavily and bleeding profusely from cuts they had sustained during their battle. Naruto thought to himself, damn four-eyed asshole, as he returned to his taijutsu stance. As his wounds healed, Kabuto thought, quite a formidable opponent. He was about to launch another attack when he noticed Temari, Obito, Kankuro, and Kurumi running towards them. Looks like my men were defeated, he thought to himself. Kabuto went through hand signals and said, well, Menma looks like we'll have to continue this fight another time. Until then, ta-ta, before vanishing into a swirl of leaves. When Temari and the others ran up, Temari grabbed onto Naruto and pulled him into an embrace. Naruto yelled, hey, get back here, but it was too late. Temari asked, nah. Menma, are you okay? And Naruto nodded. As they broke up, Naruto remarked, other than getting my ass kicked and cut up, yeah. He turned to face Obito and Kurumi and inquired, how's? Obito turned around and gestured to the smoldering remnants of his house. Obito remarked, she's mad about the house, but the most important thing is that we're all alive, to which Naruto nodded. Kurumi said, I think I wasn't bad considering this was my first fight, and Obito fluffed her hair. I captured one of them ninjas, Kurumi said. It's not like we can stay because those bastards could come back again, so what are we going to do now? Obito said proudly. Well, I did train you, he said. You can come back with us to Suna, Kankuro replied. I know that Kabuto Joker from the invasion. He's a cunning and cold bastard, if he comes back and we're not around he could overwhelm you and your family, he said with a nod. Right. Kurumi, let's grab your mother and the prisoner and let's get going, best to not stick around after all that racket, Obito replied with a nod. Kurumi called her father, Gachpa, and hurried off to fetch Yoroi and her mother. Naruto rubbed his temples and exclaimed, damn it. How could this happen? As he made his way to the location where Kurumi had fled. Temari, Kankuro, and Obito trailed behind Naruto as he exclaimed, let's go, guys. After 3 days, Suna, Kazekage office. In front of Gaara, who was examining the voluminous post. Mission report that Naruto, Temari, and Kankuro had submitted, stood Naruto, Obito, and Kankuro. Gaara rubbed his temples and sighed deeply. I sent you on a simple humanitarian mission and you uncovered a plot to kidnap children for an unknown reason, faked your death for a second time, and found a missing Konoha ninja who's been living a quiet life before his home got burned down, Gaara said, rubbing the back of his head. This job is getting more stressful, Gaara thought as he focused on the 4 people in front of him. Yeah, it kind of went off the rails, Temari smacked Naruto's back of the head. But hey, no one died. Except for Natsu, he said. This is no time for jokes, Naruto, Temari replied. Because of that auto ninja that Kurumi captured, we now have 2 more problems to add to the list. Orochimaru wants either me or Kankuro to be his next vessel, and now that Kabuto found out that Obito and Kurumi are Uchihas, they'll be going after them now, she stated, and Obito came forward. Lord Kazekage, my family is all I have left. Please help us, I can't go back to Konoha nor do I want to, considering what they did to Naruto, Obito responded. Please help us, and Gaara responded with a nod. You and your daughter seem to be quite skilled individuals. So, I will offer you the rank of Jonin and your daughter a trial period of Genin, Gaara said, giving Obito a startled expression. Of course. You helped my ninja in their hour of need and you will be repaid, Gaara continued, reaching into his desk and removing 2 Suna headbands. If you do so, you and your family will be given sanctuary and anonymity. All I ask is that you hide your face as to not be recognized and use your alias of Toby, said the man. It's not like I have a lot of options, Obito thought to himself as he picked up a headband and tied it around his right bicep. Knowing full well what will happen to him and his daughter if they accept, Obito walked over to the desk and looked down at the 2 headbands. Gaara nodded and Obito said, you got a deal, Lord Kazekage. I'll talk to my daughter about becoming a ninja. I'm sure she'll say yes, but it would be best if I asked her first. You are the Chunin sensei of Team Toby as of right now. Your team will consist of Naruto, Kurumi, and Tamari, Gaara replied, pulling out a piece of paper. Of course, Obito. Grinning, Naruto turned to face Obito, as did Tamari. Naruto laughed and said, nice to have you, Toby-sensei. Tamari remarked, I'm sure everything will work out great, to which Obito grinned. I appreciate being here, Obito remarked. Now then you will have 4 days of R&R and once that time is up you will return here, Gaara continued, and since you are a new team and need to build up teamwork, I think a couple D. Rank missions will be a great benefit to you 4 inches Gaara replied with a sarcastic grin. When Naruto, Tamari, and Obito saw that Gaara wasn't joking, they all went pale. Obito exclaimed, oh god, in terror. Tamari pleaded, Gaara, please, no. No freaking way, Naruto angrily yelled. Gaara dismissed all 4 of them, saying, too late. Get out, office is closed. As they left the building, Kankuro turned to face the newly assembled team. All 3 of them were clenching their fists and had angry looks on their faces. Kankuro said, guys, are you okay? As they all took a deep breath and looked up at the sky. They yelled, fuck, together. Suna Floriculture Farm. As Kurumi chopped off another stem from a flower, she exclaimed, wow, these flowers look so pretty. This is by far my favorite mission yet, she added. Adding more fertilizer to a flower bed, Naruto scoffed, saying, maybe for you, but this is embarrassing for me. Naruto replied, I've been on 2 A rank missions and an S rank mission and now I'm back to D ranks, according to him. Pulling another weed, Tamari exclaimed, I'm a Chunin damn it. I should be in the field not picking weeds for a damn flower farmer, Tamari added. Behind his mask, Obito uttered, first mission I've been on in 15 years, and it's a D rank. Stop complaining you 3 inches. All 3 of Kurumi's teammates rolled their eyes as she said, I've only been a ninja for a month, and we need to work on teamwork. And D rank is how you do it. What a bunch of bullshit, Naruto thought. Her optimism worries me, Tamari thought to herself. Obito thought, was farming really that boring that she'd rather do D ranks? While 3 of the 4 members of Team Toby cursed their luck, the remaining 4 members kept working to finish their mission. Office of Kazekage, hours later. Kurumi grinned and said, Lord Gaara, the mission is complete. Gaara nodded and turned to face the team, who were all frowning and sulky. Good work everyone. You are dismissed for the day. Everyone nodded when Gaara said, you can come by tomorrow for your payment. As his group prepared to leave the Kazekage tower and head home, Obito led them out. Man, I thought that mission would never end, Tamari said. I can't wait to go home and relax, looking bored and exhausted as Naruto gave her a quick glance. You can't, Tamari. We got plans later. To get her attention, Naruto remarked, remember you said you'd go and see the new Princess Gale movie with me? Tamari blushed and opened her eyes. Oh no, that's correct, Tamari thought tensely. I did promise him a while ago, she thought, turning to smile at him. She said, my bad, Naruto. I forgot. I'll get ready right away. Naruto grinned in response. Naruto said, missing Temari's growing blush, cool, it'll be great Tamari. And afterwards we can get ice cream and stuff. Ice cream too, man, I'm getting nervous, Tamari thought to herself. Suddenly, she felt someone tug on her sleeve and noticed Kurumi grinning. Want assistance, Kurumi uttered. Tamari nodded. Yes, as steam began to escape from her ears. Uchiha household. Tamari was sitting with Sango and Kurumi, twiddling her thumbs nervously as the anxiety was starting to get to her. Calm down, darlin'. Sango grasped Temari's hands and remarked, you're getting all nervous over nothing. Tamari shook her head. You don't get it, Tamari replied, for a good while I just thought about him as just a friend. But over the past few months I began feeling different, she replied. Tamari held her head in her hands and said, and when he was with Mei back in Kiri, I felt angry whenever I saw them together. I don't know how to feel. I'm not sure if these are feelings of love or something else. Sango laughed. I'm sure it's love, darlin'. Tamari sighed as Sango raised her voice and said, if it weren't then you wouldn't be stressing out this much over going to the movies with him. I haven't known him that long but Naruto as far as I can tell is a good boy. Damaged but still has his heart in the right place. It's better to try and fail than to not try at all, Sango said, adding, a good man is hard to find, don't let him slip away. Tamari nodded. Tamari sighed and said, you're right. So what do I do? Kurumi then got to her feet. We're going to doll you up for ya date, Kurumi said, we'll see to it that you get him crawling back for another date with you. With a determined expression in her eyes, Tamari got up and said, let's get started, ladies. After that, they went to work. A few hours later, at the Sabaku residence with Naruto. Naruto dressed in his civilian clothes, which included tan pants, an orange shirt, black sandals, and a face covering, before leaving the house. He was going to Kurumi's house to pick her up for the movie because Tamari had gone there for an unknown reason. As he locked the door, he thought, okay, time to go then. Temari's voice called out to Naruto, hey, are you ready? Yeah, I'm. Naruto started, then stopped as he turned around to see Temari's stunning light purple sundress and her hair, which had been pulled back into 4 ponytails, hanging down to her full length. To be honest, Naruto was dumbfounded because he had never seen Tamari look that good. Tamari questioned, Naruto, are you okay? Startling him out of his reverie. With a slight blush that Tamari did not miss, Naruto apologized to Tamari and rubbed the back of his head. You look good, by the way, he added. Tamari smiled and said, thanks, you look good too. Are you ready to go? Naruto nodded. Yes, let's get started, Naruto replied. A moment later, Tamari was clasping his arms, and his eyes grew wide. He realized that Tamari wanted him to walk her like a gentleman because Tsunade had told him that women preferred to walk in this manner. He led her to the theater and said, let's go. In the cinema. While they watched the movie, Naruto and Tamari were seated next to one another. Okay, calm down Naruto. Yeah, she's pretty, but she's your friend, he thought to himself. He thought to himself, she just wants to dress up girly for once, no big deal. Then, a romantic scene appeared on screen, and Tamari, who was not visible to Naruto, started breathing steadily. With renewed energy, Tamari thought, okay, it's now or never. She reached over to take Naruto's hand and held it. It's okay to hold hands during a romantic scene. Perfect for pushing the date along, Tamari thought, recalling what Sango had told her. This is weird. Why did she dress up pretty? Why is she holding my hand is? Naruto started and stopped, panicking. She's holding my hand. Why is she holding my hand? No, no way. Tamari is my friend. She wouldn't have feelings like that for me, he thought to himself in response to the question, is she trying to make a move? Instinctively, Naruto grasped Temari's hand, and without her knowledge, Tamari was grinning subtly. Later on, an ice cream shop. While they ate their frozen desserts, Naruto and Tamari enjoyed each other's company while eating ice cream together. How's your ice cream, Tamari? With a faint blush on his face, Naruto nervously inquired as to whether Tamari had missed it. With a cheeky smile, Tamari said, it's really good, Naruto. She brought in another spoonful of ice cream and said, I want to try some. It's strawberry flavor. Tamari was anxious on the inside. Oh man, am I moving too fast? Naruto looks so nervous right now, she thought to herself. Anxiously, Naruto wondered, is she trying to feed me? Why is she doing that? Why is she acting so weirdly nice and touchy and stuff? Sure, Naruto blurted out. Then, as he leaned forward, he realized what he had just said. Crap, no wrong answer, but no turning back now, he thought to himself. Naruto quickly said, that was good, as he blushed as he took the bite of ice cream. Tamari flushed because she did not think he would follow through. Turning to face a group of laughing teenage girls, Naruto and Tamari heard a girl say, "Aw, that's so cute." You two look like such a cute couple, the woman said, causing Naruto and Tamari to blush and turn away as they hurriedly consumed their treats. After a short while, outside the Uchiha family, Tamari stood at the door of the house and said, "I had a lot of fun, Naruto. Thank you for inviting me. I'm going to be spending the night here, okay?" Naruto smiled back at Tamari. Naruto said shyly, "It was fun going out with you too, Tamari. See you tomorrow." At that moment, Tamari leant in and gave him a cheek kiss. Saying, "Good night, Naruto," Tamari went inside and noticed Kurumi and Sango standing there grinning as the door closed behind her. Sango said, "Well," as he awaited an explanation. Kurumi squealed and gave Tamari a hug as she said, "First date went great." Pulling Tamari to the couch, Kurumi said, "Tell us everything." Alongside Naruto. As he left the Uchiha residence, Naruto touched the spot on his cheek where Tamari had planted a kiss. "She gave me a kiss." Naruto felt his heart thumping, his mind racing, and his cheeks flushed. While strolling, he noticed Obito approaching. "Oh Naruto, you're back," Obito exclaimed. "How was your date with Tamari?" Naruto gave him a perplexed look. "Date?" A perplexed Naruto blurted out before realizing, "Holy shit, I just took Tamari out on a date," and slapping his forehead. When he opened his eyes, he grinned slightly and said, "I took Tamari out on a date." Naruto laughed at his antics, and Obito thought, she said she had a good time. The following day, Tamari and Obito were wondering what was going on while Naruto and Kurumi were both in the Kazekage office. With a wide-eyed expression, Gaara said, "Naruto, Kurumi," and handed Naruto a scroll. "I'm sending you two on a C-rank mission to deliver this message to Kusa," he added. "This has the dual purpose of giving Naruto practice in a leadership position and giving Kurumi practical experience," he stated. Naruto exclaimed, "Hell yeah, what's our mission?" But then he was thrown a letter. Gaara merely said, "Deliver this message." "Naruto, I want to emphasize that this is a simple letter delivery." Naruto nodded. "I don't want to wake up and read about a bloodbath in the newspaper, Gaara stated. "Do the mission and come back," he replied. Naruto started, "But what if?" Gaara repeated, "Do the mission and come back." Kurumi started, "Wah." But Gaara gave her a stern look. "Never mind," she said, flinching away. "You are dismissed," Gaara uttered, "No bloodbath," as Kurumi and Naruto exited the room. Front gate hours later. Kurumi and Naruto both left the front gate and started to travel north toward Kusa. "Okay," Naruto said, 2 days to Kusa and 2 days back." Kurumi said, "Okay, cool. Let's go finish it," to which Naruto nodded. With their missions in hand, Naruto and Kurumi set out across the desert. With Temari and Obito in Suna. Sango, Gaara, and Kankuro were observing the two nervous ninjas as Temari was pacing around the Uchiha household with Obito. In an attempt to calm his sister down, Kankuro said, "Temari, calm down. Naruto and Kurumi have only been gone for a day." Temari and Obito both stopped, staring at him with wide eyes. "I will not calm down, Kankuro," Temari responded. "Naruto hasn't been outside the village without either me, you or Gaara. He's still in recovery and who knows what could happen," she responded. "We went out on a simple humanitarian mission and ended up causing an international incident and almost got killed twice," Temari stated. "And Kurumi is still too inexperienced to be going out on a C-rank mission," Obito stated. "Besides, she's alone with a boy." "I mean, I trust Naruto, but you know hormones and stuff," said Obito. With her hands on her hips, Temari turned to face him. "Oh my god, I hope they are both okay," Temari said, starting to pace around once more. Naruto wouldn't do anything like that. With Kurumi and Naruto in Kusa. After knocking on a door and stepping back from Kurumi, Naruto noticed an elderly woman in her 90s standing in the door frame. The door slowly opened. The elderly woman said, "Hello children, how may I help you?" As she staggered out on her cane. "Hello Mrs., we are from Suna. We came to deliver this here letter," Kurumi said as she moved forward and pulled out the letter. The elderly woman accepted the letter with a smile on her face and her old, shaky hand. The elderly woman exclaimed, "Oh, a letter from my baby boy. I hope there are more pictures of my grandbabies in this." Kurumi and Naruto grinned at how sweet the exchange was. The elderly woman smiled and said, "Would you two like to come in? I have fresh cookies just out of the oven." Naruto and Kurumi grinned. Both of them replied, "We'd love to," and the elderly woman invited them inside. After 3 hours, Kusa Woods. Rubbing his stomach, Naruto remarked, "Man, those were some good cookies." Kurumi nodded. Such a nice old granny, he added. After spending some time at the elderly woman's home, Naruto and Kurumi were now strolling through the woods. Kurumi started, I'm glad she gave us extras, but then she heard something off to her left. You know I. She whispered to Naruto, who nodded, hide now. After jumping into the trees to conceal their identities, Kurumi and Naruto both waited a short while before realizing what was making the noise. Naruto and Kurumi were taken aback when a red-haired girl wearing glasses suddenly emerged from the trees. Naruto noticed the girl was sporting a Kusa headband and questioned her motive for running. A man's voice said, get your ass back or Karen, and two more Kusa ninja emerged in that direction. The girl, now known as Karen, yelled back, fuck you. I'm not going back. One of the ninjas pulled out a kunai with an explosive tag attached and threw it close to Karen. Karen was knocked off her feet by the explosion and toppled over, struggling to free herself and yelling, let me go, to a ninja holding her down. One of the ninjas punched her in the face, breaking her nose, and said, shut it bitch. When he gets back to Kusa, your ass is going to. He continued until he started to giggle. The ninja securing Karen's restraint glanced at his partner and noticed a shuriken protruding from his windpipe. A girl's voice called out, hey asshole, and the man turned to face the black-haired girl. With a flip of her pocket, Kurumi pulled out a butterfly knife, which she used to quickly sever the man's throat and pour his blood all over Karen. In a panic, Karen pushed the man's body off her and stood up when he collapsed on top of her, spitting blood into her mouth. Karen asked Kurumi, who are you? Kurumi grinned, unsettling Karen. Kurumi introduced herself, saying, my name is Kurumi, and that guy over there is my partner and Chunin leader Menma. After leaping from the tree, Naruto landed close to Kurumi. Sup, Naruto uttered. Karen was a little alarmed by Naruto's mask, but he sensed no evil with his chakra. What's your name? He inquired. I'm Karen, said Karen. Look, thanks for the help, but you better get moving. You just killed two Kusa ninja, she replied. Naruto inquired, why were they after you? I'm running away, Karen declared, revealing multiple bite marks on her sleeve. I'm from an extinct clan called the Uzumaki clan. I have a special ability, my chakra heals someone who bites me, but at my expense, she said, startling Kurumi and Naruto. That's how my mom died and I refuse to let it happen to me, she stated. Naruto thought, she's an Uzumaki, just like me. He then removed his mask, startling Kurumi because he never does that in public or with strangers. My name is not Menma. My real name is Naruto Uzumaki, son of Kushina Uzumaki, he declared. When Karen heard this, her eyes widened, and she used Naruto's sensor ability to see if he was lying. When she realized he was telling the truth, she cancelled it after a few seconds. Holy crap, Karen grinned. Naruto looked at Karen and said, I think you should come with us, Karen. At the very least, stay with us until we reach the border with Wind Country. Then you can go your own way. Karen looked at Naruto and thought for a moment. I know what it's like to be abused and betrayed by your own village. The least I can do is help you, Naruto said. It's not like I have a lot of options, Karen thought to herself, I just met them. How could I trust them? Karen grabbed her red hair and said, okay, I'll stay with you. But how am I supposed to go with you? I stick out like a sore thumb. Naruto threw his mask at her, saying, this has a seal that changes your voice and hair color. Pulling a scroll out of her pouch, Kurumi remarked, I seem to be your size. I have some extra cloths in here. Taking the scroll, Karen grinned and said, thank you. I'm going to go change. She then threw her Kusa headband on the ground and removed it, thinking she wouldn't need it anymore. Kurumi nodded as Naruto grabbed the ninjas and placed them side by side before saying, let's burn the bodies. Kurumi performed the hand signals, fire style, fireball jutsu, and ignited the two bodies by shooting a tiny fireball at them. Karen donned a disguise while leaving, dressing in a combination of Kurumi's black tank top, tan shorts, blue sandals, and fishnet armor underneath. Wearing Naruto's mask, Karen turned her hair brown and covered her voice. Okay, done, she said as she approached, tossing her old clothes into the fire and adding, ready to go when you two are. Take off your headband. No need to draw any more suspension to ourselves, Naruto said, glancing at Kurumi, who nodded. Both Naruto and Kurumi pocketed their headbands, and he turned to face Karen, saying, "Leave." There were just 2 charred bodies left when Naruto, Kurumi, and Karen left the area. At evening, as the sun began to set, Kurumi, Naruto, who was wearing an orange keffiyeh scarf, and a disguised Karen strolled down the street. The 3 of them were growing weary. Naruto remarked, "Maybe we should find a place to rest for the night," and the 2 girls nodded. Karen stated, "There's a small town ahead. There should be an inn where we can stay." After an additional hour of walking, Naruto, Kurumi, and Karen sighed in relief upon discovering a small inn by the side of the road. "Okay, let's head in," Naruto said. Kurumi, Karen, and Naruto entered and approached the counter, where a smiling woman in her early 40s was waiting. "1 room for 3 please," Naruto said to the attractive woman, whose light brown hair was beginning to turn gray. She was dressed in a plain red kimono. "Of course, sir. My name is Akano and I'll be happy to help you," the woman replied sweetly. "So will you be sharing a single bed with your girlfriends or will you be sleeping separate?" she inquired. Naruto blushed behind his mask and waved his arms. "They're not my girlfriends," he stammered, causing Kurumi and Karen to burst out laughing. Kurumi mockingly said, "What's wrong, Menma? We not good looking enough for you," while Karen burst out laughing from behind her mask. Naruto said, "It's not that," before stabbing his fingers and blushing. "It's just Temari and me," he started, but the woman behind the counter interrupted. The woman stated, "We're just playing with you, sweetie," before removing 3 keys and stating, "You will be in room 5. You'll have 2 beds." Naruto grabbed a key and made his way towards the room. Naruto said, "You 3 are jerks," and the 3 women all laughed. Kurumi was asked by Akano, "Is he always so flustered?" Kurumi took her key and gave it to Karen, saying, "Oh, he's just a big old ball of nerves." "Come on, let's go," Kurumi said, and Karen nodded. Kurumi nodded as Akano said, "My niece Asuka will be by in a little while with some dinner. Hope you like miso ramen." Behind her mask, Karen remarked, "Sounds great," and she and Kurumi headed to their room, eager to call it a night. An hour later, in the room, Kurumi and Karen came out of the bath, but neither of them was wearing pajamas as they sealed up their clothes, while Naruto sat on his bed reading his manga. Kurumi exclaimed, "Wow, the carpet really matches the drapes," to which Karen gave her an arm slap. "Hey jerk, look at this boy over there," Karen pointed to Naruto, who was engrossed in his manga. Naruto laughed as he read Death Note and thought, "Man, Misa Amane is such a babe. Blonde goth chicks are so hot." Karen perspired at his lack of attention, but she quickly forgot about it when there was a knock on the door. "Oh, that has to be our ramen," Kurumi said, startling Naruto into focus. Kurumi nodded as Naruto exclaimed, "Ramen really?" "Yes, hold your horses," she said as she approached and opened the door, noticing a young child who appeared to be around 8 or 9 years old. "Hey there, sweetie, are you?" She started, and continued until the child dropped the food on the floor, capturing everyone's attention. "Hey, what's wrong?" she said before realizing that the young girl had an angry, hateful expression on her face. Flashback. 5 minutes earlier. Asuka, who has been in Kusa for more than 4 months, was following her aunt's instructions and carrying the food to her room. She was sent to Kusa to live with her aunt Akano following the death of her father and her escape from the 2 men who killed him. Although she has been making an effort to move past it, she can't help but think about the 2 men every night when she goes to sleep. Asuka arrived at the room where she was supposed to deliver the food and took a moment to adjust her butterfly hair clip before knocking on the door. A black-haired teenage girl said, "Hey there, sweetie, are you?" As soon as the door opened, Asuka turned her head slightly and noticed someone sitting on the bed. "Yep, hold your horses," the girl said. She recognized him right away because of his blonde hair, blue eyes, and facial tattoos that resemble whiskers. Without a doubt, he was the one who killed her father. Asuka started shaking and dropped the food to the ground in shock. "Hey, what's wrong?" the girl with the black hair asked. Naruto thought to himself, "What the hell isn't she?" as he stared at the young girl wearing the butterfly hair clip. Suddenly, though, he had to avoid a saber from the child. Asuka ran forward, screaming, I'll kill you." Kurumi grabbed her by the collar, stopping her. Kurumi yelled, "Stop right there." "What?" But Asuka twisted her arm and locked her in a joint lock. She then kicked Asuka in the face, breaking her nose, and rolled her onto the ground while still holding her arm. Kurumi heard a pop as Asuka twisted her arm, causing her to scream as her arm came out of her socket. Karen yelled, "Kurumi," as she lunged forward to attempt a head kick, but Asuka parried it and then grabbed her leg, flinging her into a nightstand that broke. With an angry expression, Asuka turned to face Naruto. "You killed my dad. Do you think I could forget you?" she yelled. Naruto started, "Please listen," trying to reason, "I didn't want to." But then the girl started throwing more shuriken at him. Naruto avoided the shuriken and reached down to grab his fan, but felt nothing. Asuka yelled, "You ruined my life." Naruto thought, "Crap, I sealed up my gear." Then, he thought, Kurumi's knife. Naruto hurried over to Kurumi's belongings, reached into her pant pocket, and took out her butterfly knife. Asuka extended her kimono sleeve, produced a hidden tanto, and lunged towards Naruto. Akeno attempted to stab him, but Naruto deflected the blade to the side. Asuka gave Naruto a kick to the side of his head, and although Asuka attempted to hit him again, Naruto struck her in the face instead, knocking her to the ground. Naruto grabbed her arms and threw her tanto away, saying, "Okay, you little brat, wheel." Before someone else spoke up, Akeno exclaimed, "What on God's green earth is going on here?" Naruto stared at her, unsure of what to say, but Asuka interrupted. Asuka yelled, "Auntie! It's him, he killed Daddy." Akeno paled and turned to face Naruto, who swallowed. After Naruto uttered the words, "I didn't want to," Akeno quickly reached into her sleeve, pulled out a tanto, and stabbed Naruto. Akeno yelled, "You killed my little Renji," but Naruto ducked behind the knife. This was a mistake because Asuka turned around and punched Naruto in the nuts after he released her hands. Asuka kicked Naruto in the face, knocking him off, while Naruto grabbed his throbbing manhood, leaving his face exposed. When Akeno landed back on him and started to drive down her tanto, Naruto had to defend himself once more. He had fallen on his back and grabbed his broken nose. Naruto was taken aback by the woman's strength, as he attempted to push back after grabbing her tanto. Wielding hand. When Naruto noticed the tanto was getting close to his chest, he moved it to the right to avoid having it pierce his heart. Naruto felt the tanto slowly pierce his shoulder, causing so much pain that he was unable to even scream. Naruto abruptly tackled Akeno, and as he turned to face Kurumi, he saw that Akeno was on top of Kurumi. When Kurumi stood back up, she saw that the innkeeper was going to stab Naruto. Kurumi did not fall on top of her and cocked back her fist. Kurumi began punching Akeno in the face, then another and another. Just as Kurumi was ready to strike again, Asuka grabbed her from behind and put her in a rear naked choke. With Kurumi in a chokehold, Asuka started to knee the black-haired girl in the kidneys, causing excruciating pain. After a few knees, Asuka was choking the life out of Kurumi. Karen interrupted this by slamming a vase against Asuka's head. Karen yelled, "Get off her, you little shit." Just as Karen turned to assist Kurumi, Akeno punched her in the stomach. As Kurumi and Asuka grappled on the ground, Akeno and Karen started exchanging blows with each other. When Naruto realized what was happening, he staggered over to the scroll containing all of his gear and opened it. Naruto had been lying on his back, attempting to extract the knife from his shoulder. With a bundle of exploding tags in his hands, Naruto yelled, "Kurumi, Karen. Substitute." The two girls turned to face him as he hurled the paper bombs. Outside the hotel. As soon as Kurumi, Karen, and Naruto touched down on the stony surface, the inn exploded, and Kurumi and Karen stood up, clutching their heads. Kurumi cried out in agony and bewilderment, "OWW, what the hell did we just get into?" Karen yelled, "Oh God, Naruto," as she ran to him. Kurumi turned to face him and saw that he was lying in a puddle of his own blood. "Oh God, I think one of his arteries is nicked," she exclaimed. Kurumi asked, "What do we do?" Karen said, taking off her shirt to reveal her bra alone. Karen said, "Hold this onto his wound to stop the bleeding," and Kurumi followed her instructions. Karen then lifted her sleeve, forced Naruto to bite down, and covered his mouth. Karen had to stop because it was starting to affect her. "Okay, he should be stable," she said as Naruto started to heal and his wound closed. Naruto asked, "What happened?" With a groan as his eyes opened, and Kurumi interrupted him. Kurumi stated, I don't know how strong they were, but I think we were attacked by the innkeeper and her niece. She started until she heard distant shouts. Asuka called out, blonde guy, and the three of them turned to see Asuka and Akeno emerge from the blazing building with only minor injuries. You will pay for what you did to my daddy, Asuka yelled into the night's darkness. Surprised, Kurumi exclaimed, they're still alive. Who the hell are those two? She asked. Asuka cried out, sounding like a crazy person, I will find you and I will kill you. I'll kill you and everyone you love. You can't hide forever. I'll hunt you to the ends of the earth. Let's get the fuck out of here, Karen exclaimed as she and Kurumi secretly left the area, leaving two enraged women in a burning building in their wake. The following day, as a scouting hawk returned and confirmed that Naruto and Kurumi were indeed close to the village, Gaara, Temari, Kankuro, and Obito stood in anticipation at the front gate. Obito proudly declared, my baby girl finished her first C rank mission. Tonight we should celebrate, to which Temari nodded. Temari said, yeah, we should get some ramen. I'm sure Naruto will like that, and Obito gave a nod. Pointing off into the distance, Kankuro said, look over there. Hey, is that them? Why are there three people? He asked, perplexed. Gaara raised her voice, feeling uneasy. Follow me, Gaara yelled as he and the others dashed in the direction of the three figures. As they got close, they saw a severely injured Naruto, a battered Kurumi, and an unidentified red-haired girl. Temari ran up to him and grabbed him, pulling him onto her shoulder. Naruto, oh my god. Kurumi, baby, Obito said, approaching his daughter to examine her wounds. Glancing at Karen, Kankuro exclaimed, who the hell are you? With concern, Gaara approached the barely conscious Naruto and said, Naruto, what happened? Who did this to you? Gazing at Gaara, Naruto started to tremble. Tears welled up in his eyes as he blurted, gee. Gaara. I fucked up. Simultaneously, at the hotel. Now all that remained of the inn was a heap of charred wood, and Akeno and Asuka were at a location behind it, their shovels driven deep into the ground. When Akeno heard a clank, as she pushed her shovel down into the ground once more, she bent over and brushed the dirt away to uncover a metal chest. After taking the chest out of the earth, Akeno placed it in front of Asuka and her. After making a few hand gestures, Akeno tapped the chest to break the seal, allowing him to reach inside. After removing two twin hook swords and giving them to Asuka, Akeno reached back inside to retrieve a bow and an arrow quiver, setting them aside. Reaching in again, Akeno pulled out two Yugakure headbands with their symbols cut out, along with an Anbu flak jacket. Before taking her weapons and getting to her feet, Akeno tied the first one around her forehead and the second around Asuka's. Akeno nodded to her niece, let's go Asuka, and the two started down the road away from the burned out inn. We will first go check Kusa, see if those three are missing ninja. They may not have been wearing headbands, but they were shinobi, Akeno said. Asuka said, and then what, auntie? That boy killed Renji and burned our inn. And we will have our vengeance, Akeno said, and Asuka nodded. If they aren't there, we will go check. Aim, then Iwa, then Taki. No matter how long it takes. We will find him and we will kill him, Akeno stated. No one can hide forever, she responded. Now, on a quest for revenge against the man who had wronged them, Asuka and Akeno strolled down the street. Suna. 4 hours following Naruto's comeback. Naruto hurried around the Sabaku household, saying, okay, let's see. He then said, found it, as he took a box out of the weapons room. After setting the box down on a table, Naruto opened it to find that it was filled with explosive tags. Naruto said, this should be enough, as he started to pack the tags into his bag. As she saw Naruto grabbing the tags, Temari became alarmed and yelled, Naruto, calm down. What the hell are you going to do with those? Temari asked worriedly. Naruto turned to face her, his expression insane. I'm going to blow those two bitches up. Shocking Temari, Naruto turned to face the tags and grinned. Yeah, I'll blow them up, that'll work for sure. Yeah. Sango, Karen, Obito, and Gaara were all staring on in shock. Gaara remarked, I think he's having another mental breakdown, and Obito shot him a look. Wait, this happened before? An alarmed Obito asked, to which Gaara nodded. Then, without warning, the door opened, allowing Kankuro to enter. Temari said, Kankuro, talk to Naruto please, and Kankuro nodded. As he sat down next to Naruto, Kankuro said, sure, I got as many poison bombs as I could. We can gas her if necessary. Startling Temari, Kankuro remarked. Temari said, Kankuro, are you crazy? And Kankuro shot her a glance. You weren't there the first time, Temari. Naruto gave him a crazy smile as Kankuro yelled, you did not see the evil in that little girl's eyes. We have to kill her, I'm with Naruto on this one. Many thanks, Kankuro. Naruto said, I can rely on you, and Kankuro nodded. A moment later, the door opened again, allowing Kurumi to enter. She was clad in armor across her chest and carried a sword on her back. Kurumi said, my arm is good enough to fight. You two ready to rock and roll? Naruto and Kankuro both nodded in response. Concerned, Obito asked, Kurumi, are you really going to kill an 8-year-old and her aunt? Kurumi turned to face him, her Sharingan blazing. That little girl broke my arm and damn near killed me, Naruto and Karen. Kurumi replied, I ain't leaving no loose ends. She vowed revenge and I ain't gonna wait till she rolls in and kill me, said Kurumi. Sango yelled, would you three listen to yourselves? This is murder. With a dead serious expression on his face, Naruto said, I prefer to think of it as premeditated self-defense. He got up and gathered his belongings, then he said, come on you two, let's begin. Temari grabbed Naruto's shoulders and sat him back down. Naruto, please calm down and consider your options, Temari sternly remarked, you are talking about killing a little girl. You can't do that. Gazing into her eyes, Naruto nodded. You know what? You're right, Temari. Temari exhaled a breath of relief as she realized she had communicated with Naruto. I don't have to kill her, Naruto uttered. The following day, a dubious Suna bar. I'm glad you came here on such short notice, Naruto said, tossing a small case full of cash onto a table alongside Kankuro and Kurumi. I need 2 people gone ASAP, and I heard you were the best, Naruto uttered. Sitting opposite Naruto and glancing at the money, Kakuzu remarked, you came to the right man. Who are the targets? Kakuzu asked. A woman named Akeno and a little girl named Asuka, Naruto stated gravely. Will that be a problem? He inquired. No, it will not, I'll kill anyone, declared Kakuzu, referring to men, women, the elderly, infants, kids, animals, plants, and anything else. Good now. Naruto started talking until Temari, Obito, Gaara, and Sango, all of whom were furious, opened the bar's door. Are you fucking kidding me, an assassin? You are going way too far, Temari yelled as she charged forward, pulling out some cash to toss at Kakuzu, who managed to catch it. She said, take the money, the job is cancelled. Sorry for the bother. Kakuzu shrugged, understanding that free money was better than nothing. What the hell, Temari? Kankuro exclaimed, we. Before Gaara covered him in sand. You're joining me, Gaara declared, pulling a furious Kankuro out. Kurumi was pulled to the side by Sango, who reached up and grabbed her by the ear, telling her, you are grounded, young lady. Kurumi gave a painful, ow, ow, ow mom, cry. Temari, damn it! Exclaimed Naruto, as Temari slammed her hands against the table. Temari angrily said, Naruto, take a chill pill. Kakuzu then cleared his throat and continued. I can help with that, Kakuzu said, pulling open his cloak to reveal a large stash of drugs. I got weed, coke, crack, heroin, acid, LSD, uppers, downers, tranquilizers, meth, Adderall, oxy, morphine, things to make your dick hard, things to make your dick soft, things to help you find your dick, mushrooms, bath salts, birth control, Plan B, Flintstone gummies. Take your pick, he declared gravely. With everyone staring at him like he was an asshole, Sango approached and placed some cash down. To everyone's surprise, Sango said, I need a Xanax. Kakuzu then produced a bag containing a Xanax pill, which Sango took, crushed it, and sipped it down with Naruto's glass of water. Oh god, this is stressful, Sango exclaimed. Temari took another wad of cash and threw it at Kakuzu, telling her to get the fuck out, because she was out of patience. Standing up, Kakuzu gave Naruto a business card and said, "If you change your mind, you know how to get me," before leaving the bar. Home. Now, Tamari said, grabbing Naruto by the arm and pulling him toward her house. Re-entering the home. Naruto was hauled back into the house by Tamari, and Obito, Gaara, Sango, and Kurumi trailed closely behind. "Naruto, I've put up with a lot of your crap, but you've gone too far this time. You were acting crazy." Tamari glared at him as she threw Naruto onto the couch. With a furious expression, Naruto stood up after Tamari said this. To everyone's surprise, Naruto started pacing around and yelled, "Goddammit, Tamari. My feet are glued to the bicycle on this one." He also declared, "I will do whatever it takes to protect you and everyone I love." Naruto picked up a chair and yelled, "I'll do it even if it means lying or physically hurting people," before hurling it at a window and shattering it. "Or doing push-ups in a sauna," was Naruto's comment as he entered the next room. Tamari bolted, locking the door behind him. "On a bed of needles with a naked Granny Tsunade on my back," was Naruto's comment as he exited the room through a different door. "Do I sound like a crazy person? Is that crazy?" Naruto exclaimed, glancing at Tamari. Tamari uttered, "Naruto," quietly. "Akabiba." Naruto yelled nonsensically. "Naruto," Tamari said once more. Once more, Naruto yelled, "Rabibabashabam." Then, Tamari seized Naruto, hugging him and putting an end to his tirade. When Tamari withdrew, Naruto stopped, turned to face her, and looked at her. Tamari was in tears. Tamari begged Naruto to stop, her voice breaking. "You are scaring me," Tamari added. Naruto paused, looking at Tamari. Tamari softly remarked, "Naruto, I know you are under a lot of pressure. I also know you are scared, but if you keep this up, I am at a loss for what to do," she uttered. With a slight movement, Naruto approached the couch and buried his face in his hands, saying, I can't lose any of you," Naruto stammered out. Sango approached, sat down next to him, and said, "I lost everything in Konoha," placing her hand on his shoulder. To their shock, Naruto uttered the words, "If you all hadn't saved me, if I was just left there, I probably would have just offed myself." Naruto turned to face Tamari and said, "I would have just ended it, be done with it all. No more hateful glares, no more demon brat, or hell spawn, no more suffering. But when I got a new life here in Suna, I thought, this is it. I can have a home, a family, a life where I'm not hated. I had brothers in Gaara and Kankuro. Then Obito came along and I got a sensei again," Naruto remarked, giving Obito a confused look. Naruto turned to face the black-haired girl and said, "I got Kurumi as a little sister." Grabbing her hand, he continued, "And I got a surrogate mom in Ms. Sango here." He smiled slightly. Naruto looked at the blonde girl and said, "And you, Tamari?" I love you," Naruto said, shocking her. "And when that girl and her aunt threatened to kill you and everyone else here," Naruto said with a cracked voice, "I knew I could not let that happen because if that happened to Athena I would just Naruto started, but he stopped when he started crying. Naruto started crying uncontrollably when Sango grabbed him and threw him into an embrace. It dawned on Tamari and the others why Naruto was acting so strangely. He was scared he would lose them. When Tamari approached as Sango motioned for her to, Tamari grabbed Naruto and Sango released his hold. "Naruto," Tamari reassured him, "you are not going to lose us. You are here and we are safe." Naruto nodded in between sobs. Tamari was attempting to calm him down. Then, surprising both him and the other people in the room, Tamari leaned in and planted a kiss on Naruto's lips. Tamari then grabbed his head and forced him to look at her. Tamari broke the kiss and met his eyes, saying, "Naruto." She said, "I promise you that nothing bad will happen to me or anyone else here. I love you too." With a hiccup, Naruto wiped away his tears and said, "Why? You promise," to which Tamari nodded. "I never break my word." "It's my ninja way too," Tamari grinned. Naruto buried his head in Temari's shoulder as she rocked and caressed his back. Observing this, Gaara turned to face Obito and said, "We should leave them be." Obito nodded, and the four of them left the room, leaving the two blondes alone. Next day. Office of Kazekage. Standing in front of Gaara's desk were Naruto, Temari, Obito, and Karen. Naruto, before you say what you need to say, let's say something, Gaara said, and Naruto nodded. Karen, he continued. Yes, Karen replied to Lord Kazekage. Just Gaara is fine. Karen nodded as Gaara stated, as a robed ninja of Kusa, you can no longer go back home. Karen nodded as he said, but based on what you told the interrogators, Kusa isn't much of a home. Karen uttered, I'd rather die than go back, and Gaara gave a nod. Excellent, Gaara exclaimed, removing a Suna headband. If you'd like, you can live here in Suna and take on the identity of a shinobi. Gaara said, you can still live here if you wish to stop being a shinobi. Karen took a closer look at the headband and picked it up. Karen nodded, and Gaara said, as long as no one uses me as a living medication bottle, I'll do it. Karen nodded and Gaara continued, very well. You'll be placed on Obito's team as a genin. Now Naruto, what is it you have to say? Gaara asked, turning to face the blonde. Moving forward, Naruto removed his headband and set it on Gaara's desk. I can't be a ninja right now, Gaara. To Gaara's surprise, Naruto said, I'm not in the right headspace. I've been on 3 C-rank missions in less than 4 months, and each one ended worse than the last, as he cast a sorrowful gaze on him. Naruto replied, I'm just not ready. Gaara nodded, returning the headband to Naruto. Keep it, Naruto. Gaara replied, you've been through a lot. Take all the time you need and when you are ready, come right back, Gaara spoke, and Naruto gave a nod. Naruto pocketed the headband and said, thanks, Gaara. Tamari moved forward to take Naruto's hand. I've looked into several things, Gaara heard Tamari say. Elder Chio need help in the herb gardens, the hospital need help in the nurses departments, and Baki says there's a slot open for a helper in the Suna armory, Tamari replied. Gaara nodded as she said, I think some light work would be best for Naruto. You know, to keep him busy and still help out. Gaara said, that sounds good. Let me see what I can do. Obito then took the initiative. There is a support group that meets up at the monastery, Anonymous. It can help you talk things out, stated Obito, and Naruto nodded in agreement. Naruto remarked, I'll check it out. Karen approached Naruto and grasped his hand, saying, you helped me, let me help you. And if you ever need someone to talk to, come and find me. Naruto nodded. Many thanks, Karen, said Naruto. Karen squeezed his hand and kissed his cheek before stepping back. Gaara said, if that is all, you are dismissed, and the 4 of them left the room. Later on in the evening. Hell of a day, huh? Naruto remarked, and Tamari nodded as he went to the bed where Tamari was already waiting while dressed in his pajamas. As Naruto crawled into bed, Tamari reassured him, you are doing the right thing. You took a very big step. I'm proud of you, Naruto nodded. With a slight smile, Naruto said, I think you're right, Tamari. I think this is a new beginning. Tamari grinned back and leaned in to give him a kiss. Tamari grabbed Naruto's hand and said, and I'll be there every step of the way. Now let's go to bed. Naruto nodded. Okay, Naruto said, turning out the lights. He then lay down, cradling Temari's head against his chest. Good night, Tamari, he murmured, before gently closing his eyes. Tamari said, good night, Naruto, and shut her eyes. The world around the 2 blondes vanished as they fell asleep holding each other. Beyond Konoha. Root Covert Installation. Standing in the center of the arena, covered in blood from head to toe, was a boy no older than 10. Around him lay the lifeless bodies of 2 more children, each of a different age, who had been brutally murdered with blades and jutsu. Danzo appeared impressed. Danzo turned to face his side and remarked, looks like we have another candidate. Weed out the weak and keep only the strongest. Survival of the fittest, he said. Seems like your plan worked, Danzo remarked. With a stoic expression, Shikamaru, dressed in his original uniform, observed, we have 1,500 to start with. By the end we will have around 500 left. With proper training and conditioning they will be good first. Generation soldiers, he remarked, drawing Danzo's attention. First generation, Danzo questioned, and Shikamaru gave a nod in response. When we trained enough we should send them out to countries like Kumo and Iwa, these are civilians. They will be more effective if we gain children with bloodlines and shinobi lineages, Shikamaru stated, to which Danzo nodded in agreement. As Danzo turned to leave and said, very well. Get to it then, Shikamaru peered into the arena to watch as the final candidate was led out and 3 more were brought in. As he watched the match about to start, Shikamaru remarked, this is the new beginning. Candidates begin the match, he yelled as the 3 kids below started to trample each other. Suna. 1.5 years post. Kusa mission. 1 year prior to Shippuden's commencement. The light streaming in through the window startled Tamari out of her deep sleep as it struck her face. Tamari leaned up and said, Damn son, letting her hair hang loose in her signature ponytails. She then turned to face her sleeping boyfriend and pillow, Naruto. Over the past 18 months, Naruto has grown. He now stands at the same height as Tamari and has more lean muscle on his body. Tamari insisted that Naruto trim his sides and top to maintain a nice appearance, but even with his longer hair and ponytail reaching his shoulder blades, Tamari still thought Naruto was the boy she fell in love with. Tamari woke Naruto up by leaning over and giving him a cheek kiss. Tamari called Naruto by her pet's name, Morning Naru. Naruto grinned and said, Good morning, Mari. Tamari glanced at the clock on the nightstand. Tamari got out of bed at 8 in the morning and said, Let's eat some breakfast, catch up with the others, and get to the Kazekage office by noon to see what Gaara wants. Tamari had on a cartoon frog. Themed boxer shorts and a purple tank top. And you're sporting my all. Time favorite pair of boxers, Tamari smirked and Naruto laughed. Tamari stretched and remarked, Hey, they're pretty comfy. Now get your ass out of bed. Naruto moaned. Yes, ma'am, Naruto exclaimed as he emerged, decked out in a white tee. Shirt and heart-shaped boxers. Tamari said, I'm wearing those next, and Naruto gave her a mock hurt look. Tamari rolled her eyes at Naruto's chuckle, you demon. Trying to wear all my boxers. Tamari said, You're a dork, and Naruto followed her as she went to the restroom, staring at her ass. Looking like a double-wide surprise, goddamn, laughed Naruto as he finished getting dressed. Office of the Kazekage, later in the day. Naruto was currently positioned between Temari and Kurumi, and Gaara, seated behind his desk, was watching Team Obito and Tamari. Wearing a dark orange jacket with a white shirt underneath, black cargo pants, and blue shinobi sandals, Naruto had a medium-sized fan on his back that was roughly 1/3 the size of Temari's. Holsters for his small fans were located on both of his sides. In addition, Naruto sewed a mask and hood into his jacket. These items were sealed, so when Naruto pulls the jacket up, it won't blow up or come down unless he deactivates the seals. Naruto turned to face Kurumi and noticed how much she had changed in appearance. Kurumi has matured into a stunning young woman. Her long hair fell freely to her waist. She had bandages wrapped around her legs and was wearing tan shorts that reached her mid-thighs. To the chagrin of Karen and Tamari, Kurumi, with her attractive face and amazing figure, has been drawing attention in Suna. She was wearing a black shirt with fishnet armor underneath, covered by a tan vest. Karen's canon outfit consisted of black shorts, a light purple top, and calf-high shinobi sandals. It looked fairly conventional. I'm glad you all came to see me, Gaara responded, as you know the Chunin exams are starting up soon and I wish to enter Suna in by sending a team to represent us. And so far, I have chosen your team Obito to be the one, Obito replied with a grin. Oh man, I remember my first Chunin exam. I got my ass kicked by Guy, and the second time I got my ass kicked by Kakashi, Obito remarked with a smile, really this is amazing, causing everyone to perspire. Speaking up, Naruto exclaimed, wait, I'm already a Chunin. Remember, you gave me the rank when I joined the village. Confused, Naruto continued. Naruto's eyes widened as Gaara said, no. Natsu was a Chunin and he was killed. Remember that Menma is a genin. Naruto then slapped his forehead. Naruto said, oh no, I'm a ringer then. Gaara nodded, well, it's not that bad. I made it to the finals once, so I can do it again. Kurumi exclaimed, so where are the exams being held? Gaara shook his head. Kumo? Iwa? No wait. Taki? she asked. Kurumi was thrilled to hear Gaara say, no Kiri, because she enjoyed visiting new villages and traveling for missions. Gaara also mentioned that Kiri had volunteered to host the exams and was back on its feet. However, I must go with Temari and Kankuro to the Land of Iron in order to vote on where it's being held, but I expected to go to Kiri, Gaara said with a grin on his face. Oh, cool Kiri. Hey, maybe I can see Mei again and hang out, said Naruto. Temari coughed, drawing Naruto's attention with a ahem. Temari huffed when Naruto said, as friends, don't worry. Sensing Temari's feelings, Karen remarked, she's just jealous, Naruto, but what do you have to be jealous of, Temari? What does she have that you don't? Temari gave her a look. Temari crossed her arms and remarked, long silky hair, big tits, nice face, supermodel figure, and she's the Mizukage. Naruto then encircled Temari and gave her a hug. Naruto made Temari stop being envious by saying, oh, come on, don't be jealous. I love you no matter what. Temari responded, I mean, you're really hot too. Besides, looks aren't that big of a deal for me, I'm not shallow. Meanwhile, in a different reality, after the mission to retrieve Sasuke. Damn it, let me through, Naruto muttered, shoving a nurse aside as he hobbled. Following Naruto into the hospital room, Ino yelled, stop, she doesn't want you to see her. Yes, she did say that. Sakura started, but Naruto ignored her. Naruto snatched the door and slammed it open, saying, I don't care. I have to see if she's okay. Show me, are you okay? Naruto asked before becoming very wide-eyed. Wearing her hospital gown, Shomi cried, no, don't look at me. Her long, light brown, spiky hair cascaded down her back, and tears covered the swirl marks on her cheeks. I don't want you to see me like this, she sobbed as she made an effort to cover up her body. She exclaimed, the doctors said the chakra pills affected my body. I will never look the way I used to ever again. Her plump body had vanished, replaced with a figure that any girl her age would have envied. But instead of backing away, Naruto went up to embrace her from behind, telling her, I love you no matter what. We can work through this. You don't have to go at it alone. With a, oh Naruto, hug, Shomi turned around and sobbed as Naruto patted her back in an attempt to console her. Sakura whispered, wait, is she sad that she's not fat anymore? As for Naruto viewing her skinny now, is that a bad thing or what? Ino shrugged. I mean, they looked cute before, but still, Ino remarked as they both turned to face the couple. No clue, but who cares? They look pretty cute. It's a gender swap, Shoji, in case you were wondering. I really enjoy performing these short plays because they are so creatively freeing. Returning to the fiction. We're heading to the meeting tomorrow, said Gaara as he stood up. Temari, get ready to head out, he said, and Temari nodded. Then, Temari said, okay. I'll help you out, babe, Naruto uttered as Gaara threw him and the other person out and left. Gaara wondered as he peered out the window, hopefully, these exams will go better than the last time. After 4 days, the Land of Iron. As Kankuro, Gaara, and Temari arrived at the castle for the meeting, he exclaimed, holy hell, it's cold outside. I've never seen snow before, and I have to say it sucks ass, he said, wiping the snow off his body. It's definitely not like Suna, Temari remarked while removing her coat. Temari, Kankuro, and Gaara all entered the castle as a layer of sand retreated from him and blended back into his gourd. My sand kept me warm, Gaara remarked. Lord Kazekage, we've been expecting you. The servant welcomed them as soon as they entered. Boxing the 3 sand siblings, he said, please follow me. The meeting is going to start in a few moments, and they all nodded. Following the servant to the meeting chamber, Gaara, Temari, and Kankuro went. Once inside, Gaara peered around and saw that the Kages from all the major nations were seated at tables with their advisors and the leaders of smaller villages. We are sorry for being late, Gaara said, turning to face the room. We had to spend the night in shelter because there was a snowfall on our route. Mifune, seated at the head of the room and facing the other leaders, said, understandable Lord Kazekage, you and your siblings are not used to the harsh weather of Iron Country. It could be treacherous. Gaara nodded as Mifune said, now please be seated so we may begin. She then moved to sit at the desk, which was between Tsunade, Shizune, and Ibiki, who represented Konoha, Princess Koyuki, and 2 advisors, who represented Spring Country. Gaara greeted the 2 women, saying, "Lady Tsunade, Lady Koyuki." Tsunade said, "Gaara, I'm so happy to see you. I hope everything is going well in Suna." Gaara nodded. Tsunade scowled in response to Gaara's question, "Yes, it is." "How about Konoha?" "I swear the sentiment is getting worse with each passing year," Tsunade remarked, drawing a frown from Gaara. "Last week was the anniversary of Naruto's death. I'll gladly give you a home in Spring Country to escape that place." "No offense, but just saying Konoha leaves a bad taste in my mouth," Koyuki said, speaking up. Tsunade nodded without objecting. After learning of Naruto's passing, Koyuki became enraged with Konoha. She refused to give up the trade agreements and even imposed embargoes to prevent Konoha from obtaining technology from Spring Country. Tsunade raised an eyebrow and said, "I'll keep it in mind, but you should look into trade with Suna here." Gaara raised an eyebrow. "After all, Gaara here stood up for Naruto until bureaucratic bullshit drove them out," Koyuki remarked, nodding before turning to face Gaara. "After this meeting, Lord Gaara, would it be okay if I brought you and your group back to Suna?" Koyuki inquired. "Anyone who supports Naruto is my ally." "May Kami bless his heart," Koyuki uttered, clutching her chest. Gaara nodded, realizing what Tsunade was attempting to accomplish. "I think it's possible," Gaara stated. "We'll take you and your advisors back to Suna, where we can talk about politics," Koyuki grinned. "Thank you, Lord Gaara," Koyuki uttered just before a gavel struck, signaling the start of the meeting. After 2 hours. All villages talked about the Chunin exams over the course of the following 2 hours, and a vote was held to choose Kiri or AIM to host the exams. Because of the inclement weather and inadequate facilities, nearly everyone including Emiya voted for Kiri, despite the opposition of their leader Nagato and his advisor Konan to hold the exams. A number of smaller nations, including Taki, Spring, and AIM, would send 3 teams each. Konoha, Suna, and the other great nations voted to enter teams, with Suna entering 1, Konoha entering 10, Kiri entering 7, Kumo entering 12, and Iwa entering an astounding 15. And now for those who will handle the Chunin exams, Mifune continued, this year the ones setting up the challenges will be Suna, Konoha and Spring. You may name 1 person per one of the 3 exams, according to him. Konoha groaned and got to his feet. Konoha chooses Shikamaru Nara as the proctor of the 2nd exam, Tsunade announced. Just as she finished speaking, Shikamaru got up and moved from the back of the room to the front. Shikamaru, wearing a dark green flak vest with black pants and a black shirt, caught the attention of the 3 Sand siblings, who were shocked by how different he looked. His eyes startled the trio of Sand more than his red handled wakizashi on his back or his tanto on his hip. His face displayed a hardness not apparent from their previous encounter, and his eyes were intensely cold. As Tamari watched her ex-boyfriend walk to the front and bow, she wondered, Shikamaru, what happened to you? Without adopting his slack tone, Shikamaru declared, Itakubetsujonin Shikamaru Nara will accept this great honor. Kankuro whispered to Shizune, what the hell happened to him? He, Kiba and Neji all took out a band of 300 pirates and rogue ninjas near Wave Country about a year ago. Shizune murmured. They did it all by themselves in a single night. Danzo and the council voted for them to be promoted, she continued. Neji to Jonin, Shikamaru to Takubetsujonin, Kiba to Chunin, she uttered, shocking Kankuro. Kankuro thought, I can tell by the look in his eyes that he's not the same guy Tamari fought all those years ago. After the deed he committed in the hospital, I would have kicked him to the curb if the councils hadn't stood up for him, Tsunade remarked, recalling what Sakura had told her about Shikamaru's plan to kill Naruto while he was unconscious. Spring selects Katsuragi Hojo as the proctor of the 3rd exam, declared Koyuki as she stood up. A girl with white hair approached the group from the back, said, Hello everyone, formed an ice ramp, slid to the front, and bowed. It's an honor to proctor the 3rd exam. I'll do my best, Katsuragi exclaimed in a lively manner. Koyuki shook her head as Tamari whispered, Is she serious? She seems a little immature and young. She used to work for my uncle Dodo as his personal anti-partisan hunter. Despite her being 16, she's a Jonin and one of the best ninjas we have, Koyuki said, causing Tamari to widen her eyes. She's the only A-rank ninja the land of Spring has, Koyuki continued as she sat down. To the surprise of the three Sand siblings, Koyuki admitted, to be honest, she scares me. If she had gone up against Naruto and his entire team, we would all be dead. Luckily, she was abroad, tracking down some crazy guy who was sacrificing people in Yuga. Tamari thought, crap, are you serious? As Gaara got up to say something. Gaara announced, Suna chooses. Temari is the proctor of the first exam, and Tamari winced. She knew she was more qualified for the role than Kankuro, but this was far worse than she had anticipated. Temari stood beside Shikamaru after getting up and trying not to look at her. I accept the honor of proctoring for the exams, Temari said. All right, then, Mifune stated, taking up his gavel. This meeting is adjourned. The Chunin exams will take place in Kiri in 2 months. As Temari started to turn to go, Shikamaru interrupted her with, Temari wait. Temari turned around, looking irritated. Temari said, what? As she struggled to speak. Shikamaru rubbed the back of his neck and said, look, I get what happened last time we saw each other. It didn't end well. But it's just. I was wondering if we could put it behind us and. Temari interrupted him. Temari sternly remarked, save it, prick. You tried to kill your friend for no good reason. Temari turned around and said, I have a boyfriend now, so stay away from me. I'm going to work with you, but I won't enjoy it. Reaching out to stop her, Shikamaru said, Temari wait. However, before he could do so, an ice wall appeared out of nowhere, encasing his hand just inches from Temari's shoulder. When Temari turned around, she saw Katsuragi looking irate. Leaking her killer intent, Katsuragi remarked, dude, she said no, now piss off, or else you die here and we find another proctor from Konoha. Koyuki yelled, Katsuragi stand down, as everyone turned to face the front. Katsuragi released Shikamaru, who was giving her a glare, with a, yes ma'am. Tsunade yelled, Nara. Get your ass over here now. Katsuragi said, go to mama buddy, and Shikamaru left for Tsunade without saying anything more. Tsunade apologized to Temari, saying, I'll deal with ass later. She was followed out by Shikamaru, Shizune, and Ibiki. With a smile, Katsuragi turned to face Temari, her anger having subsided. Man, that guy was a prick, she said. Is her like your ex or something? Temari asked, letting out a sigh. Slightly, Temari uttered. Change of plans. We are heading to Suna for diplomacy, Koyuki said, grabbing Katsuragi's attention. Katsuragi nodded. With a smile on her face, Katsuragi pulled Temari along and remarked, sweet a desert never seen one before. She also grabbed Temari's hand. Temari thought, well, at least she's friendly. Suna. After 4 days. Leading Koyuki and Katsuragi to the Sabaku mansion, Gaara, Kankuro, and Temari dropped the 2 advisors off at a hotel because Koyuki would be staying at the mansion. It was too hot for Koyuki to wear her ceremonial kimono, so she said, you really didn't have to do this, as she walked down the road. She had changed into a tank top, blue jeans, and more cozy sandals. Telling herself not to laugh, Temari said, nonsense, you're an esteemed guest. It's only proper. I'm excited. I can't wait to see a mansion, Katsuragi exclaimed, flexing her arm. She was now decked up in black sandals, short shorts, and a tank top that flaunted her DD assets. Temari responded, no, but there's a gym nearby. That's where my boyfriend and I work out. However, Temari was secretly thinking to herself, how is her tit so big? She's shorter than me by like 6 inches. Welcome to our home, Gaara said as they got closer to the house, extending an invitation to Koyuki and Katsuragi to come inside. Rubbing a pilar, Koyuki exclaimed, wow, this looks nice. Such fine granite, she added, causing Kankuro to chuckle. Koyuki was led to the living room by Kankuro, who said, let me show you something really impressive. As Koyuki entered the room, she asked, and what would that be? She heard footsteps, turned, and almost passed out when she saw who it was. Hey, Koyuki? Naruto timidly greeted the startled Koyuki as he turned the corner. They told me you were coming, Gaara, and you look amazing as always, he remarked. In an instant, Koyuki dashed to embrace Naruto and started crying, saying, I thought you died. We held a funeral in your honor in my country, Koyuki choked out. After stepping back and grinning at Naruto, Koyuki began slapping him, prompting the latter to raise his hands in self-defense. "You jerk. How come you never contacted me? I could have helped you," she yelled. Naruto apologized while attempting to sidestep the enraged princess. Katsuragi restrained her, saying, "Lady Koyuki, hold up. This is Naruto, the guy who died in Konoha," to Tamari, who nodded. Koyuki inquired, "How are you alive? What happened?" And Naruto stepped over to the couch. Naruto commanded everyone to sit down, saying, "It's a long story." After an hour, Naruto then went on to tell Koyuki everything, including how Temari, Gaara, and Kankuro saved him, how the Konoha ninja had kidnapped the children, and how he had been hiding his true identity from Konoha. As Katsuragi watched in shock, Koyuki sat there in silence. "Damn, you got fucked over," Katsuragi uttered, and Naruto nodded. Naruto rubbed his neck and remarked, "Yeah, it's been rough, but it's not all bad." Temari then approached and sat on his lap. Naruto remarked, "I got a new life, a great girl, and a family now. What more can a man ask for?" Koyuki grinned in response. "I'm glad to hear that you are safe, Naruto," said Koyuki, "and now I see Tsunade was right about Konoha." "They can't be trusted," she responded. "You've been training a lot and are pretty powerful, right?" Katsuragi asked, grabbing Naruto's attention. Naruto nodded. Naruto said, Yeah, why?" To which Katsuragi grinned. Catching everyone's attention, Katsuragi asked, "What do you say about a friendly spar?" "I want to see what the hero of Spring Country is made of," she added. Naruto gave her a smile as he did so. "You're on," said Naruto. Suna Training Grounds, featuring Katsuragi and Naruto. The training ground was in the center, where Naruto and Katsuragi were preparing to start their spar. Temari, Gaara, Kankuro, Koyuki, Obito, Kurumi, and Karen were waiting on the sidelines. "I wonder how this is going to turn out," Obito remarked, looking on. "I never expected when coming here I'd see Naruto spar with a foreign ninja." Kurumi exclaimed, "This is way better than training. I have to make sure before she leaves, Suna, we spar too," she added. Obito laughed from behind his mask. As she moved in between them, Temari wished Naruto luck and said, "Okay, you two, this is a friendly spar. No killing, no destructive jutsu, and for the love of God don't wreck the training ground." "No assurances," stated Katsuragi. Temari rolled her eyes at Naruto's apology, "Sorry, babe, same here." Temari raised her hand and said to herself, "Why'd I even try?" As Naruto and Katsuragi prepared to do their taijutsu stances, Temari yelled as she leapt back and began. Naruto and Katsuragi engaged in a taijutsu duel as they charged at each other. Naruto attempted an uppercut, but Katsugari blocked it and Naruto leaned back to avoid it. After turning on his heel, Naruto kicked Katsuragi in the head. Katsuragi dodged the blow and hit Naruto with a sweeping kick. After Naruto leapt up to avoid the kick, Katsuragi caught him by the waist and forcefully threw him to the ground. Katsuragi then mounted Naruto and delivered a punch. Katsuragi was in a chokehold when Naruto sighed, stepped the punch, twisted her around, and then grabbed her. Nevertheless, Katsuragi managed to break free. Both Katsuragi and Naruto leapt back to get some distance. Katsuragi used hand signals. Ice wall. Ice style. By forcing air through her mouth, Katsuragi condensed the moisture in the air in front of her into an ice wall. After using hand signals once more, Katsuragi slammed her hands into the Ice Sparrow's ice wall. Ice sparrows emerged from the wall and shot in the direction of Naruto at a breakneck speed. Reaching behind him, Naruto grabbed his fan and opened it, saying, "Crap." At 1'6", his fan was 1/3 the size of Temari's and it only had one moon marked on it. "Wind Sickle Jutsu," Naruto yelled as he swung the fan back and forth, launching a wall of wind blades in the direction of the ice sparrows. The jutsu resembled Temari's wind scythe, but it was narrower and more focused. The wind blades cut the ice sparrows, leaving a line of snow along the ground, and the sparrows and the wind blades collided, canceling each other out. Along with Temari and the others. Gazing at the battle, Koyuki remarked, "Naruto sure has changed. Last I remember, he used brute force in his brawler fighting style. He must have had an amazing teacher." Temari and Obito both said, "Oh, it was nothing," at the same moment, then exchanged glances. "I apologize to Obito, but I was the one who demonstrated his skill in wind jutsu." Temari grinned and gave Obito a tick. "Well, I improved his taijutsu and taught him the correct way to be a shinobi," Obito grinned, to Temari's glare. Breaking up the fight, Kankuro said, "We get it. You both helped him." Returning with Katsuragi and Naruto. Katsuragi leapt from behind her wall and charged at Naruto, using her ice jutsu to create ice claws on her arms as she did so. When Naruto realized this, he folded his fan and placed it on his back. Then, he pulled out a kunai and his hidden gauntlet blade, charging at Katsuragi. When Katsuragi used her ice claws to block Naruto's gauntlet blade strike, he raised his kunai to block the attack. Katsuragi then swung her other claw at Naruto. After Katsuragi ducked under a kick from Naruto that was aimed at her stomach, she shot her ice claw fingers in Naruto's direction. Using his kunai and blade, Naruto stopped the first two ice projectiles, but the remaining two struck her in the arm and chest. Fortunately, her claws were dull, so she was unharmed. When Katsuragi saw that Naruto had been struck, she hurried to attack. She reshaped her claws and slashed at Naruto. Katsuragi used her claws to strike Naruto in the ribs, causing him to lose consciousness. She then spun around and delivered a spinning kick to his face. After Naruto collapsed to the ground, Katsuragi got on top of him, sat on his back, and grinned while putting her claws up to his neck. With a smile, Katsuragi declared, "I win." "Yeah, you win." With a smile on her face, Naruto expressed her defeat, while Katsuragi moved away from him and raised a hand. After accepting and getting assistance to stand, Naruto remarked, "Nice job, Katsuragi," to which Katsuragi grinned. Katsuragi said, "All my friends call me Katsu," and Naruto nodded. "Okay, Katsu, now is the time," Naruto said as he turned to face Temari, Gaara, Kyuki, and the other people who were getting closer. Temari smirked and said, "Wow babe, getting your ass kicked. So not manly," while Naruto protruded his tongue at her. "Ah, whatever. I'll beat her next time." As he approached Temari and grabbed her by the waist, Naruto remarked, "Like how I beat you with my..." Temari covered his mouth as Naruto started speaking. Temari hissed, "Don't you dare mention it," and Katsu became intrigued. With a smile, Katsuragi said, "Mention what?" "Nothing," Temari said, becoming flustered. "It's really a..." Temari started, but Gaara covered her in sand and kept her there. Before turning to face Naruto, Temari pleaded, "Gaara, let me go." "Naruto, please don't." Temari pleaded, but Naruto turned to face Katsuragi with a smile. Naruto remarked, "Well, Temari and I once had a fight." Rewind. A year ago. When Temari's fan struck the top of Naruto's head, he ducked under it and jumped back to get some distance. "You're going to lose again, Naruto," Temari yelled as she opened her fan and prepared to perform a wind jutsu. Naruto thought, crap, not again, but then he had an epiphany. Thinking, maybe, he made several shadow clones and raced to Temari. As he and his clones made a hand gesture, Naruto exclaimed, "Hey Temari. Watch this." Temari became on guard, assuming Naruto was going to perform a wind jutsu, but was taken aback when both Naruto and the clones vanished in smoke. Sexy jutsu. Reverse harem, Naruto and his clones uttered as Temari saw the smoke clear and they changed into older, attractive boys who were fully nude. Temari was astounded to see a wall of nude men in front of her. When they all vanished, Naruto charged in, his fist cocked back, saying, "I got you." After giving Temari a punch to the face, she collapsed. "Haha, I won at last," Naruto exclaimed, glancing down at her. With a silly smile on her face, Temari was knocked out, and Naruto became pale, saying, "OSH*T, I'm going to be in trouble later." The flashback concludes. Katsu pointed at a blushing Temari and laughed, "Ha ha ha ha," saying, "You lost to a bunch of naked dudes." Temari, attempting to defend herself, cried out, "Shut up, it's not my fault." How was I supposed to react to that? Kurumi uttered, like I did. Rewind to 2 months ago. Naruto and his clones called her a sexy jutsu reverse harem, in front of Kurumi, who was astounded to see every detail with her Sharingan. After dispelling his clones, Naruto lunged in for a punch, saying, "Ha, I beat Temari with this. There's no way this will." Naruto started, but Kurumi blocked his punch. Kurumi pulled Naruto in close and kicked him in the nuts, saying, "Not today, pervert." Naruto whimpered as he fell to the ground, feeling his soul leave his body. I read B.L. Boy love, manga. I've seen my share of nudity, Kurumi remarked as she turned to leave. To add salt to the wound, Kurumi stopped and turned around, saying, "Your sexy jutsu is too weak to work on me." Naruto stopped her while on the ground, stammering out, Kurumi. You ain't shit, he said, and Kurumi turned to leave. Flashback 2 concludes. Kurumi stuck her tongue out as Naruto continued, and I took that loss personally. Kurumi sighed as Obito uttered, "I really need to make sure I know what you were reading." Kurumi said, "Oh, come on. You and Mom read that Icha Icha Paradise, or whatever," to which Obito responded with a scowl. In self-defense, Obito exclaimed, "Hey, those are books written by my late master's sensei." Obito remarked, "I would do anything to meet him in person." Naruto thought, maybe I should introduce him to Pervy Sage. Gaara looked at Koyuki and said, "Enough with the comedy. Shall we go and discuss our alliance?" Koyuki nodded. Koyuki nodded and turned to face Naruto. "Yes, we should," she said. "Let's talk later, Naruto," Koyuki said. "Okay, let's go and chill." Naruto grinned as Katsu asked, "Hey, do you have any video games?" "Yeah, I just got the new Red Dead Ronin 2 feet." With excitement, Naruto exclaimed, "Want to split screen online?" Katsu applauded. Tamari smiled at Katsu's, "Hell, yeah, let's go," as she and Naruto hurried inside the house. Tamari remarked, "God, he's still such a kid sometimes," but as she followed, she couldn't help but think that was part of his charm. After a few days, at the village entrance, Naruto, Tamari, Gaara, and Kankuro watched Koyuki, Katsu, and her advisors leave. Naruto was giving Katsu a piece of paper. "Here's my gamer tag. Send me a friend request." Katsu nodded as Naruto spoke. Naruto nodded and grinned as Katsu said, "Totally," before giving him a hug. "It was so awesome to meet you, Naruto," she said. Smiling, Koyuki approached Naruto after releasing her embrace. "Naruto." Naruto blushed as Koyuki said, "Until a few days ago, I thought I lost my hero. Now that I see you're alive and have a new life. And I'm overjoyed," she exclaimed as she entered and hugged Naruto. "If you ever need anything, I mean anything at all, just send us a message. And you are always welcomed in Spring Country," Koyuki said, tears streaming down her cheeks. She then turned to face Tamari. Koyuki added, "And I'm sure your girlfriend here wouldn't mind a vacation." Naruto nodded, breaking up the hug and approaching Tamari to put his arm around her waist. Tamari nodded in agreement as Naruto remarked, "That'd be great. Maybe after the Chunin exams." Tamari said, "Sure, that sounds great," and Koyuki nodded. "Until then, take care of yourselves," Koyuki said, bowing before starting her arduous journey back home. "I'll make arrangements then," Koyuki added. Naruto turned to face Tamari and said, "Well, we have 2 months to prepare. So, let's get cracking." Naruto then grinned as he saw Koyuki's retreating form and realized that another of his old friends was back in his life. Tamari smirked and said, "Well, you better get ready, Naruto, because I'm going to work you to the bone." Naruto grinned in return. There would be no other option, Naruto stated, taking her hand, but first and foremost, ramen and movies. Tamari grinned at her boyfriend's antics. Naruto has come a long way, Gaara thought as he watched Tamari and Naruto walk away. But let's see if it'll be enough to compete with Konoha, he frowned. Gaara said, "Let's go, Kankuro. We have work to do," and Kankuro nodded. Kankuro replied, "Yeah, thing Gaara," as they headed to the Kazekage office to begin working on the impending task. In a boat, off Kiri's coast. On the boat's deck, Naruto, Obito, Kurumi, and Karen were waiting to approach Kiri for the Chunin exams. As they got closer to land, Naruto was bouncing excitedly, and Kurumi gave him a quick glance. Kurumi said, "Menma, calm down." Naruto covered his face and turned to face her. "You are acting like a hyper monkey," Kurumi said, and he paused and sighed. Crossing his arms, Naruto remarked, "Hey, it's been a month since Tamari left to help organize this thing. I missed her every day, to which Obito sighed. From behind his mask, Obito uttered, I feel that. I hope my Sango is okay. I hate leaving her all alone. Returned to Suna. Sango danced to the music on the stereo as she slid through the living room door frame, only sporting her socks and an extra large shirt. After her dance, Sango grinned and looked up. Oh boy, 1 month by myself. I got so much to do, she thought to herself, her newly discovered independence rushing through her. I want to take a bubble bath and not get dressed afterwards, she thought as she hurried upstairs. Returning to Naruto and the gang. When the vessel pulled into port as Naruto, Kurumi, Obito, and Karen left via the walkway, he noticed Temari and Mei were waiting below on the docks. Naruto bolted to his feet and ran toward Temari. With a, hey babe, hug, Naruto embraced Temari, who returned the hug. He said, I missed you so much. How you been? Temari grinned in response. Temari kissed him on the forehead and said, I've been fine, Menma. As they parted ways, Naruto turned to face Mie. Naruto said, hey Mei, you look as pretty as ever, and Mei grinned. Mei greeted Naruto with an embrace, to which he replied, Menma such a flatterer. Welcome back to Kiri, Mei said. Naruto then broke the embrace and ushered his team forward. Naruto pointed to Kurumi, Karen, and Tobi-sensei, each of whom smiled and waved so that Mei wouldn't have to look at Obito's face. Mei, this is my team, he said. Hey, howdy, I'm Mei Terumi the Mizukage. Howdy, any friends of Menma? This is a friend of Kiri, Mei smiled. Kurumi looked at Mei and exclaimed, holy crap, you're the Mizukage. Naruto wasn't kidding when he said you were beautiful, to which Mei laughed. I know I catch a lot of people off guard. Especially men, Mei replied. Not to brag or anything, but I use my feminine charm to sway a lot of deals and alliances my way. I mean, who would say no to a pretty lady, she grinned. Kunoichi everyone. They're like a poison dart frog. Mei nodded as Obito remarked, you get distracted by the pretty colors so when you touch it you die from its poison. They all nodded when Mei remarked, exactly, let's get you four settled, the exams start tomorrow after all. Enough with all the introductions. Mei said, follow me, and I'll show you to the hotel where you will be staying. Naruto and the others followed Mei in the lead. As Naruto passed Temari, he held her hand, causing her to flush. In the lodging. After settling into their rooms, Naruto and the others were leaving with Temari to grab something to eat. So, Temari, what have you been up to? He asked. I mean, have you seen Katsu at all since you've been here? Temari nodded. Yeah, we have been working together a lot, Temari replied. We have been growing a lot closer since we met up again. I guess you can say I have a girlfriend now, she responded. Hey, Karen and Kurumi both objected simultaneously. Temari uttered the words, another girlfriend, and Naruto laughed. Oh, that's good, Naruto remarked, before growing serious. Have you seen Shikamaru since you've been here? Naruto inquired. Temari had previously told him about their encounter at the summit, and he was furious with his former comrade's behavior. Naruto nodded as Temari said, once, her smile disappearing. He didn't approach me but I knew he wanted to, Temari said. Temari said, he's changed so much over the years that I don't even recognize him. It'll probably be best if. Before a distant voice called out to her. Naruto froze in place when he heard a familiar voice say, hey Temari. Turning around, he saw four faces he hadn't seen in a while. With smiles on their faces, Sakura, Kakashi, Hinata, and Lee approached Temari. Temari, I knew I saw you. How have you been? Sakura inquired. Temari instantly put up a front. I'm great, Sakura. Wow, I barely recognize you, Temari remarked as she peered at Sakura, who had her shoulder length pink hair styled into a tiny ponytail at this point. Notably, her headband cloth had changed to orange. She was dressed in blue Anbu pants, red shirt, and fishnet armor underneath. Yes, I have made some changes to my appearance, Sakura said while removing her headband. Temari laughed as she joked, I thought it would be nice to honor Naruto by wearing his favorite, kill me, orange. Sakura turned to see her holding hands with a boy who had a hood over his face and covered his mouth. "Oh Tamari, I didn't know you had a boyfriend," Sakura remarked. Naruto swallowed and gestured with his hand to alter his tone. "Yes, my name is Menma. Tamari and I met approximately 2 years ago," Naruto said, extending his hand to shake Sakura's. "Hi, my name is Sakura Haruno. It's nice to meet you, Menma." Sakura shook his hand and introduced herself. "Hello, Mr. Menma, it's nice to meet you," boastfully stated Rock Lee. "I hope we get to have a useful battle in the exams," he added. Naruto shook Lee's hand and said, "Nice to meet you." "Hi, my name is Hinata Hyuga. It's nice to meet you, Menma." Hinata bowed. Naruto bowed and said, "Nice to meet you, Hinata." With a hint of hesitation, Kakashi said, "And I'm Kakashi Hitaki, their Jonin sensei. This is a mismatched team since my other 2 students are absent. I made a deal with their senseis because Hinata and Lee wanted to take the exams too." Kakashi smiled, turning to face Obito, who tried not to flinch. "Are you their sensei?" Kakashi asked. "Yep, that's me." Trying to maintain his silly demeanor, Obito introduced himself as Tobi, the Jonin of Suna, and said, "Nice to meet you all." Kurumi slapped her forehead and exclaimed, "Oh God, Pa. I'm Kurumi, his daughter. Please excuse my Pa, he's a little immature for his age." She then glanced at Obito. With a mocking hurt expression, Obito said, "Ah, my little baby girl is embarrassed." As he attempted to give Kurumi a hug, she put out her hands to stop him. Kurumi tried to shove him away with a, "No, Pa, stop," cry, making Tamari, Karen, and Naruto laugh and drop their jaws. "And I'm Karen," said Karen, "it's nice to meet some friends of Tamari." "Hope we can become friends too," she responded. As Sakura approached Tamari, she said, "Well, it's good to see you all. We have to go now, we're heading out to get a bite to eat." "It's good to see you again, Tamari," Sakura said, giving Tamari a hug. Sakura said, "Let's talk more later, okay?" Tamari nodded. It was good to see Tamari again, Sakura remarked as she and her group left into the streets of Kiri, to which everyone nodded in agreement. Lee said, grabbing their attention, "It's a little strange though. The Menma guy seems a little familiar." He looked at them quizzically. Lee pondered, "I wonder if he was in the exams in Konoha back then." Glancing back, Kakashi remarked, "And that Tobi guy? I feel like I have no idea how to explain it," Kakashi uttered. "Perhaps I'm exaggerating. I met him but didn't realize it," Kakashi remarked as they all proceeded on their way. Returning with Naruto. Tamari noticed Naruto's shaking hands as he turned to face his former friends and watched Sensei leave. "Naruto, are you okay?" Tamari mumbled, and Naruto nodded while shedding tears that seeped into his mask. Naruto, wiping his eyes, remarked, "I never thought I'd see them again." "Neither did I," Obito replied, "Kakashi. My friend," with regret in his voice. Tamari took Naruto's hand, and Kurumi gave her father a pat on the back. "Let's go have some food. Tomorrow is going to be a big day," Kurumi said, and the group nodded. Unaware that they were being observed by a different Konoha team, Naruto and the others left the hotel. They were all decked up in black shirts, jeans, sandals, and tantos on their backs. One of the boys remarked, "So that's the Suna team." The group's female member stated, Lord Danzo was clear on his orders. "Eliminate them as soon as possible." The boy leader added, "In due course, let's report in to Lord Shikamaru. We need the intelligence he gathered to ensure our victory." With that, he and the others started to leave. He declared, "Tomorrow will be the day Konoha bears the fruits of its labor." However, as they left, nobody realized that sinister forces were at work behind the scenes. The Kiri training grounds the following day. "You 3 have trained hard in the past 2 months, Obito said, glancing at his teammates. They all smiled as Obito said, "And I just want to say, win or lose, I'm proud of each and every one of you." He said, disappearing into a vortex, "Now go in and kick some ass. I'll be watching from the Jonin lounge." With excitement, Naruto turned to face Kurumi and Karen. "Okay girls, let's rock this bitch," he exclaimed, pumping out his fist. Kurumi replied, "Hell yeah," and raised her fist. Karen grinned and added, "For Team Tobi." "Let's go," Naruto exclaimed as the 3 of them entered the training area. After 10 or so minutes of walking, they came upon a sizable group of applicants and stood in the center of them. "It seems like this is the right place," Naruto remarked. Kurumi remarked, "I wonder what the first exam is going to be." She didn't have to wait long, though, because Tamari soon emerged clutching her fan and yelling, "Okay, people listen up. I'm Temari of Suna, here to administer the first test of the Chunin exams." A tornado quickly spun around before dying down. Naruto remarked, "That is so hot," just before Karen gave him a slap across the back of the head. Karen said, "Focus Menma," and Naruto groaned and rubbed the back of his head. "For the first exam we are going to have an obstacle course," Tamari called out to get everyone's attention, then gestured eastward across the training ground, saying, "There will be a large fenced-off area. That is the Kiri Anbu training grounds." Tamari pointed eastward about 1 mile. "Once you arrive you will be assigned a gate number. Go to your gate and wait for the signal to enter the training grounds. Any questions?" Tamari inquired. Sakura raised her hand as she stood with Hinata and Lee. Sakura inquired, "What are the rules of engagement?" "Live fire. You are free to use any and all means to eliminate the enemy teams," Tamari stated. "There are a total of 54 teams present, and by the end of the course there should only be 27 or less remaining," which frightened the crowd. Tamari said, "Are there any more questions?" And a spring ninja raised her hand, responding, "Yes," and indicating the spring kunoichi. She inquired, "Is there a time limit?" Tamari nodded. "Yes. You all have 2 hours to make it through the course." Nobody else raised their hand when Tamari asked, "Any other questions?" "Excellent, get moving," she commanded, and everyone started heading toward the testing area. On the practice field, as Kurumi, Karen, and Naruto waited patiently for the exam to begin, Naruto was making sure he had enough supplies on hand. Naruto and his companions were startled when he did so, and a puff of smoke materialized, revealing a small weasel with a note attached to its back. Before it vanished, the weasel said, "From Mistress Tamari." Naruto picked up the note it left and read it. After reading, "Good luck, Naruto. I love you, Tamari," he noticed Tamari had written a kiss on the note she had left behind from her lip gloss. With a smile, Naruto folded the note and placed it in his wallet for security. As Naruto and his group prepared, a voice over a loudspeaker declared, "Okay, everyone listen up. We will begin the exam in 15 seconds. 15, a 14, a 13, a 12, a 11, a 10. He then counted down. 9, a 8, a 7, a 6, a was the next countdown as Sakura, Hinata, and Lee got ready to take the test. 5, a 4, a 3, a 2, a was the next countdown, and the 3. Leaf Ninja, aiming for Naruto and his group, patiently awaited the start of the test. The exam gates opened, and all of the examinees hurried in after the announcer said, "1. Go." With Kurumi and Karen sprinting to his sides, Naruto said, "Okay girls, let's win this thing," as he took the point. In a boat, off Kiri's coast. On the boat's deck, Naruto, Obito, Kurumi, and Karen were waiting to approach Kiri for the Chunin exams. As they got closer to land, Naruto was bouncing excitedly, and Kurumi gave him a quick glance. Kurumi said, "Menma, calm down." Naruto covered his face and turned to face her. "You are acting like a hyper monkey," Kurumi said, and he paused and sighed. Crossing his arms, Naruto remarked, "Hey, it's been a month since Tamari left to help organize this thing. I missed her every day," to which Obito sighed. From behind his mask, Obito uttered, "I feel that. I hope my Sango is okay. I hate leaving her all alone." Returned to Suna. Sango danced to the music on the stereo as she slid through the living room door frame, only sporting her socks and an extra large shirt. After her dance, Sango grinned and looked up. "Oh boy, 1 month by myself. I got so much to do," she thought to herself, her newly discovered independence rushing through her. "I want to take a bubble bath and not get dressed afterwards," she thought as she hurried upstairs. Returning to Naruto and the gang. When the vessel pulled into port as Naruto, Kurumi, Obito, and Karen left via the walkway, he noticed Tamari and Mei were waiting below on the docks. Naruto bolted to his feet and ran toward Tamari. With a, "Hey babe," hug, Naruto embraced Tamari, who returned the hug. He said, "I missed you so much. How you been?" Tamari grinned in response. Tamari kissed him on the forehead and said, "I've been fine, Menma." As they parted ways, Naruto turned to face Mie. Naruto said, "Hey Mei, you look as pretty as ever," and Mei grinned. Mei greeted Naruto with an embrace, to which he replied, "Menma such a flatterer." "Welcome back to Kiri," Mei said. Naruto then broke the embrace and ushered his team forward. Naruto pointed to Kurumi, Karen, and Tobi-sensei, each of whom smiled and waved so that Mei wouldn't have to look at Obito's face. "Mei, this is my team," he said. "Hey, howdy, I'm Mei Terumi the Mizukage." "Howdy, any friends of Menma?" "This is a friend of Kiri," Mei smiled. Kurumi looked at Mei and exclaimed, "Holy crap, you're the Mizukage." Naruto wasn't kidding when he said you were beautiful, to which Mei laughed. "I know I catch a lot of people off guard. Especially men," Mei replied. "Not to brag or anything, but I use my feminine charm to sway a lot of deals and alliances my way." "I mean, who would say no to a pretty lady?" she grinned. "Kunoichi everyone. They're like a poison dart frog." Mei nodded as Obito remarked, "You get distracted by the pretty colors, so when you touch it you die from its poison." They all nodded when Mei remarked, "Exactly, let's get you four settled, the exams start tomorrow after all." "Enough with all the introductions," Mei said, "Follow me, and I'll show you to the hotel where you will be staying." Naruto and the others followed Mei in the lead. As Naruto passed Tamari, he held her hand, causing her to flush. In the lodging. After settling into their rooms, Naruto and the others were leaving with Tamari to grab something to eat. "So, Tamari, what have you been up to?" he asked. "I mean, have you seen Katsu at all since you've been here?" Tamari nodded. "Yeah, we have been working together a lot," Tamari replied. "We have been growing a lot closer since we met up again." "I guess you can say I have a girlfriend now," she responded. "Hey," Karen and Kurumi both objected simultaneously. Tamari uttered the words, "Another girlfriend," and Naruto laughed. "Oh, that's good," Naruto remarked, before growing serious. "Have you seen Shikamaru since you've been here?" Naruto inquired. Tamari had previously told him about their encounter at the summit, and he was furious with his former comrade's behavior. Naruto nodded as Tamari said, "Once," her smile disappearing. "He didn't approach me, but I knew he wanted to," Tamari said. Tamari said, "He's changed so much over the years that I don't even recognize him. It'll probably be best if..." Before a distant voice called out to her. Naruto froze in place when he heard a familiar voice say, "Hey Tamari." Turning around, he saw four faces he hadn't seen in a while. With smiles on their faces, Sakura, Kakashi, Hinata, and Lee approached Tamari. "Tamari, I knew I saw you. How have you been?" Sakura inquired. Tamari instantly put up a front. "I'm great, Sakura." "Wow, I barely recognize you," Tamari remarked as she peered at Sakura, who had her shoulder length pink hair styled into a tiny ponytail at this point. Notably, her headband cloth had changed to orange. She was dressed in blue Anbu pants, red shirt, and fishnet armor underneath. "Yes, I have made some changes to my appearance," Sakura said while removing her headband. Tamari laughed as she joked, "I thought it would be nice to honor Naruto by wearing his favorite, kill me, orange." Sakura turned to see her holding hands with a boy who had a hood over his face and covered his mouth. "Oh Tamari, I didn't know you had a boyfriend," Sakura remarked. Naruto swallowed and gestured with his hand to alter his tone. "Yes, my name is Menma. Tamari and I met approximately 2 years ago," Naruto said, extending his hand to shake Sakura's. "Hi, my name is Sakura Haruno. It's nice to meet you, Menma." Sakura shook his hand and introduced herself. "Hello, Mr. Menma, it's nice to meet you," boastfully stated Rock Lee. "I hope we get to have a useful battle in the exams," he added. Naruto shook Lee's hand and said, "Nice to meet you." "Hi, my name is Hinata Hyuga. It's nice to meet you, Menma." Hinata bowed. Naruto bowed and said, "Nice to meet you, Hinata." With a hint of hesitation, Kakashi said, "And I'm Kakashi Hitaki, their Jonin sensei. This is a mismatched team since my other 2 students are absent. I made a deal with their senseis because Hinata and Lee wanted to take the exams too." Kakashi smiled, turning to face Obito, who tried not to flinch. "Are you their sensei?" Kakashi asked. Yep, that's me. Trying to maintain his silly demeanor, Obito introduced himself as Toby, the Jonin of Suna, and said, "Nice to meet you all." Kurumi slapped her forehead and exclaimed, "Oh god, Pa. I'm Kurumi, his daughter. Please excuse my pa, he's a little immature for his age." She then glanced at Obito. With a mocking hurt expression, Obito said, "Ah, my little baby girl is embarrassed." As he attempted to give Kurumi a hug, she put out her hands to stop him. Kurumi tried to shove him away with a, "No, Pa, stop," cry, making Temari, Karen, and Naruto laugh and drop their jaws. "And I'm Karen," said Karen, "it's nice to meet some friends of Temari." "Hope we can become friends too," she responded. As Sakura approached Temari, she said, "Well, it's good to see you all. We have to go now, we're heading out to get a bite to eat." "It's good to see you again, Temari," Sakura said, giving Temari a hug. Sakura said, "Let's talk more later, okay?" Temari nodded. It was good to see Temari again, Sakura remarked as she and her group left into the streets of Kiri, to which everyone nodded in agreement. Lee said, grabbing their attention, "It's a little strange though. The Menma guy seems a little familiar." He looked at them quizzically. Lee pondered, "I wonder if he was in the exams in Konoha back then." Glancing back, Kakashi remarked, "And that Toby guy? I feel like I have no idea how to explain it," Kakashi uttered. "Perhaps I'm exaggerating. I met him but didn't realize it," Kakashi remarked as they all proceeded on their way. Returning with Naruto. Temari noticed Naruto's shaking hands as he turned to face his former friends and watched Sensei leave. "Naruto, are you okay?" Temari mumbled, and Naruto nodded while shedding tears that seeped into his mask. Naruto, wiping his eyes, remarked, "I never thought I'd see them again." "Neither did I," Obito replied, "Kakashi. My friend," with regret in his voice. Temari took Naruto's hand, and Kurumi gave her father a pat on the back. "Let's go have some food. Tomorrow is going to be a big day," Kurumi said, and the group nodded. Unaware that they were being observed by a different Konoha team, Naruto and the others left the hotel. They were all decked up in black shirts, jeans, sandals, and tontos on their backs. One of the boys remarked, "So that's the Suna team." The group's female member stated, Lord Danzo was clear on his orders. "Eliminate them as soon as possible." The boy leader added, "In due course, let's report in to Lord Shikamaru. We need the intelligence he gathered to ensure our victory." With that, he and the others started to leave. He declared, "Tomorrow will be the day Konoha bears the fruits of its labor." However, as they left, nobody realized that sinister forces were at work behind the scenes. The Kiri training grounds the following day. "You three have trained hard in the past 2 months," Obito said, glancing at his teammates. They all smiled as Obito said, "And I just want to say, win or lose, I'm proud of each and every one of you." He said, disappearing into a vortex, "Now go in and kick some ass. I'll be watching from the Jonin lounge." With excitement, Naruto turned to face Kurumi and Karen. "Okay girls, let's rock this bitch," he exclaimed, pumping out his fist. Kurumi replied, "Hell yeah," and raised her fist. Karen grinned and added, "For Team Toby." "Let's go," Naruto exclaimed as the three of them entered the training area. After 10 or so minutes of walking, they came upon a sizable group of applicants and stood in the center of them. "It seems like this is the right place," Naruto remarked. Kurumi remarked, "I wonder what the first exam is going to be." She didn't have to wait long, though, because Temari soon emerged clutching her fan and yelling, "Okay, people listen up. I'm Temari of Suna here to administer the first test of the Chunin exams." A tornado quickly spun around before dying down. Naruto remarked, "That is so hot," just before Karen gave him a slap across the back of the head. Karen said, "Focus Menma," and Naruto groaned and rubbed the back of his head. "For the first exam we are going to have an obstacle course," Temari called out to get everyone's attention, then gestured eastward across the training ground, saying, "There will be a large fenced-off area. That is the Kiri Anbu training grounds." Temari pointed eastward about 1 mile. "Once you arrive you will be assigned a gate number. Go to your gate and wait for the signal to enter the training grounds. Any questions?" Temari inquired. Sakura raised her hand as she stood with Hinata and Lee. Sakura inquired, "What are the rules of engagement?" "Live fire. You are free to use any and all means to eliminate the enemy teams, Temari stated. There are a total of 54 teams present, and by the end of the course there should only be 27 or less remaining, which frightened the crowd. Temari said, "Are there any more questions?" And a spring ninja raised her hand, responding, "Yes," and indicating the spring kunoichi. She inquired, "Is there a time limit?" Temari nodded. "Yes. You all have 2 hours to make it through the course." Nobody else raised their hand when Temari asked, "Any other questions?" "Excellent, get moving," she commanded, and everyone started heading toward the testing area. On the practice field, as Kurumi, Karen, and Naruto waited patiently for the exam to begin, Naruto was making sure he had enough supplies on hand. Naruto and his companions were startled when he did so, and a puff of smoke materialized, revealing a small weasel with a note attached to its back. Before it vanished, the weasel said, "From Mistress Temari." Naruto picked up the note it left and read it. After reading, "Good luck, Naruto. I love you, Temari," he noticed Temari had written a kiss on the note she had left behind from her lip gloss. With a smile, Naruto folded the note and placed it in his wallet for security. As Naruto and his group prepared, a voice over a loudspeaker declared, "Okay, everyone listen up. We will begin the exam in 15 seconds. 15, a 14, a 13, a 12, a 11, a 10. He then counted down. 9, a 8, a 7, a 6, a was the next countdown as Sakura, Hinata, and Lee got ready to take the test. 5, a 4, a 3, a 2, a was the next countdown, and the 3. Leaf Ninja, aiming for Naruto and his group, patiently awaited the start of the test. The exam gates opened, and all of the examinees hurried in after the announcer said, "1. Go." With Kurumi and Karen sprinting to his sides, Naruto said, "Okay girls, let's win this thing," as he took the point.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.